Welcome back to the 2024 World Series of Poker. It is time for the final bracelet event of the summer. We are streaming the final table of events, online bracelet event number 23. It is the $5,300 High Roller Championship event. And my name is Remko Rinkema. Donnie Peters joining me here for one more last hurrah before we, of course, all turn our attention to the main event, which will stream on PokerGo the next 2 days. We got a stacked final table for you here with Jacob Snider leading the way and a who's who of online and live crushers at this final table, all battling for the top prize of $258,000. You can see it on your screen. $33K guaranteed for the final 8, 30-minute levels, so we might have a fast and easy one here, but the question, of course, remains. Who's going to take home that gold bracelet? And another question, another layer is here, Donnie. Can Sotiropoulos go 2 for 2?
He might be able to. I mean, coming off that other win, right? Momentum in his corner. Is momentum real? Is it a thing?
It is real.
Do you believe in it?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do.
Do you get momentum when you're riding the bike?
Oh, yeah. It's all about momentum. All about momentum. And the biggest thing, of course, is the extra confidence you carry into an event like this. By the way, we're streaming live on the WSOP YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It's fun to be able to do something extra for you guys, and this final table is a little cherry on top here for all of our coverage that we've done over the last month and a half or so. Donnie, stacked final table. These guys know their way around the poker table, most notably this gentleman right here.
Yeah, Artur Martirosian, an absolute crusher. You know, plays the biggest events in the world all over the place. Doesn't matter the buy-in. He'll be in the field. He'll be battling. He's going to be an absolute handful at this final table.
Like I mentioned, Georgios Sotiropoulos, he won one of the online events that we showed yesterday, so he already has a bracelet for this summer. The question now is, can he win a second one? Sotiropoulos, $8.1 million in career earnings. Martirosian leading the way with $15.9. He will eclipse the $16 million mark if he manages to ladder up at least one more spot. Lots of money on the line here at this final table. If you're tuning in for a specific favorite of yours, let us know in the chat who has your rooting interest. We'll cover this final table until we have a winner. The main event final table is not today. Today is all about this final table. Tomorrow, the main event will start. It'll be on PokerGo.com. It'll be a 2-night affair. I see lots of questions in the chat about the main event. They'll play from, I believe, 9 down to 4 or 3, depending on how fast it goes. And then the final night will crown a champion. That would be on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday night, a collective vacation starts for everyone who's been at the Horseshoe for the last 50 days. Donnie, George Wolff, mostly known as a PLO specialist, also here in the mix. Have not seen much from George the last little bit.
No, I mean, he's been in the studio battling, you know, for some earlier PGT stuff this season, but at the WSOP, results, you know, haven't been as frequent for him, but hey, better late than never, right? Summer saver.
Yeah, Wolff has a string of cash at this year's WSOP. His best result, a 17th place finish in a no-limit event earlier this summer for $18K. And right now, he looks to be in a bit of trouble against Martirosian.
Raised 125.
Martirosian with the 3-bet to 125. And Brandon Witmeyer also frequents the PokerGo studio with pocket 8s in the small blinds. Donnie, we got quite a bit of action here right off the bat.
We do. I like it. Yeah, Witmeyer's been on the high roller scene kind of newer, you know, in terms of putting in the volume, getting out there. Gets out of the way with those 8s.
Action back on George Wolff, ace-queen suited. Are we in a position to shove?
It's tricky. I think, yes, obviously he'll run into it, right? Ace-queen suited might just be a little bit too high up in the range. Also your stack size, you know, on the shorter side. The tricky thing when I mention that is because Martirosian also isn't super deep. So
right.
Even though he is someone who can open things up and get aggressive, yes, is he getting out of line with where his stack size is? So that makes it harder here for Wolff.
As always, and we might sound like a broken record, ICM a serious consideration here. $33K guaranteed for the final 8. If you just make the final 5, you got $72,000. So looking at these stack sizes, there is a lot to consider. Wolff is our short stack, along with Debregeas from France. Martirosian not far ahead of him, but still any and every chip matters right now. And Wolff with the fold, very disciplined, well done.
Yeah, able to correctly assess that situation. Probably did think, you know, is Artur getting out of line, given the fact that, you know, he's in that sort of weird ICM middle ground where he doesn't want to go too crazy and blow things up. Something interesting we've always seen from Martirosian is that, you know, even though for him, this might not be the biggest tournament in the world. You know, first place, $258,000. He buys into tournaments for $258,000, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't matter. He will always try and play his A game. He's not just going to go in there and like just blow it and punt it off, right? So it doesn't matter if it might be a 1K or a 250K. Martirosian is always going to give his best and really, really, really try. So if George Wolff understands that from Martirosian, which I don't have any reason to believe that he shouldn't, then he should understand that, you know, Martirosian isn't just getting in there and just firing away with anything.
Yeah, Martirosian, the type of guy who'll show up to your 1-2 home game.
Yeah, tank for 30 minutes.
He'll put the stare on you. He'll put the stare on you there.
Play 10-25 or 15-25?
Is he going to get a hand every time?
Yeah, he is. By the way, Aliaskei Boika in the 1 seat, Donnie. Don't you have some history with him? Or was it Ignar Soika? I always get my Belarusians.
Soika.
I get my Belarusians confused.
Yeah, Soika wrecked me in the main event. Boika, not so much.
Well, Martirosian here, back in action with King Queen suited, and Brandon Witmeyer finds the Rockets. By the way, chat, what's the best nickname for aces?
I will never get tired of calling them Rockets or hearing people calling them Rockets. I love it.
The Rockets is just the best.
It's just great. I know it's cheesy, but like I even say it at the table. I got the Rockets. Boom.
Action back on Martirosian. Witmeyer, by the way, $2.1 million in career earnings. Has cashed online at the World Series of Poker this summer quite a bit. No live results, so I wonder if he's just been hanging back at the house, not worrying too much about the Vegas grind. And Witmeyer is going to get a call here.
I know Witmeyer is newer to the scene, but he has been doing things like playing in the studio, heading over to play Triton events as well, so Martirosian probably does have some experience with him.
Yeah, the biggest score for Witmeyer was a 7th place finish in the 50K at the WSOP last year. He does have a bracelet from back in 2015 in the DraftKings 50-50 event for $200K. Also a 3rd place in a 2,500 event that same summer. So 2015 really the breakout year for him. And he's lately been very active on the high roller scene as he bets 125 here.
Having the ace of clubs in his hand as well. Working for him is Witmeyer. Martirosian here. Yes, he's got backdoors, but again, chip position. Just going to get out of the way here.
Donnie, what's the like the hat call that a gnome wears? The red pointy hat. Is there a name?
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
That's what we call aces in the Netherlands. If any Dutch people are watching, the puntmutsen.
Interessante massa finale. Ja, nu mai regular. Și mult ICM, la Payout ăsta 250.
Lots of European representation here at this table. As we mentioned, Sotiropoulos won the bracelet in the hybrid event yesterday, and he's sitting in the same seat, so if that's any indication, he might be very successful as we get to see our start of the day chip leader in action for the first time. Jacob Snider with ace-queen suited. Snider has 148,000 in career tournament earnings. Multiple cashes at the WSOP this summer.
Interesting spot here for Debregeas. How do you say that, Remko?
I would say Debregeas.
Debregeas. I see the name and I just think of Cesc Fabregas.
Yes.
And then I immediately am like, okay.
He kind of has the same vibe going. Does let go of the queen jack.
And not necessarily the easiest spot there. You know, you do have two Broadway cards. You got the chip leader raising on the button after it folds to him, so he could be on the wider side of things. But Debregeas does get out of the way. Well done. Another disciplined fold by somebody here at the final table.
It's kind of interesting how these players, of course, squared off online from 265 players down to the final 8. Most of them probably had no idea who the other players were, but now that they see each other, especially between the Europeans, they probably have a fair bit of history, Donnie.
Yeah, they might. And also to your point about not knowing who anyone is, even truer this year, because just before the summer, the WSOP upgraded their software and everyone created new screen names.
Wow.
So if in the past you're like, oh, so-and-so is this person, so-and-so is that person, and then you can be able to familiarize yourself that way, or look up past results from WSOP events and match screen names to real names. This year, it was all fresh, brand new.
Yeah. Well, we have the screen names in front of us. I will say there are a few creative ones in there. My favorite is probably Martirosian. His screen name is Pay. Just pay this man.
I like copy-paste.
Copy-paste is a good one, too. Jacob Snider, 3 deuce of hearts. Donnie, how likely is it that the dynamic we saw at yesterday's 2 final tables is something that eventually we'll get back to at this final table, meaning one player is going to get some chips and the rest is going to fight for second place?
It could certainly happen. You know, takes 1 or 2 hands, a couple of clashes, and, you know, somebody can get a boatload of chips. Let's say Snider decides to tangle with Witmeyer. We saw it yesterday with Theologius and Mayor when they got that big hand, aces versus kings. All in here.
Debregeas moves all in for 305. And Sotiropoulos, same as on yesterday's stream, catches the hands at the right time and makes the call with ace-jack offsuit. Debregeas from France looking for some help here, or he'll be our first casualty.
Dominated here. Great position for Sotiropoulos. Trying to score that first KO of the final table. Just about a $6,000 pay jump. About 6,600 is on the line here.
Takes like 1 minute to deal 10 river, like 2 minutes every hand.
More complaining about the production.
Yeah,
it's our fault, guys.
that TV time doesn't come cheap here, boys. Let's see if we can find an exciting flop here. 9-9 queen, lots of... Actually, I wouldn't say lots, but we have some chop outs here for Debregeas to stay alive. A queen would give both players 2 pair with the ace kicker. Debregeas looking for a 6 to double up. Turn card, the 8 of hearts. Additional chop outs here. A queen or an 8 would chop it. River card. The ace of clubs. And now we chop it as well.
Yep. That queen plays as the kicker. Just slightly better than Sotiropoulos' jack. And these two are going to chop this one up.
No casualties just yet here. as Debregeas still looks for a double up here.
And I believe Sotiropoulos actually lost chips because he was the big blind ante, which is what's going to get chopped up. So slight gain for Debregeas and slight loss for Sotiropoulos.
For Hawaii Boy in the chat, yes, we are live right now. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Aliaskei Boika from Belarus, fold on the A7, also a very feared player, 2.6 million in earnings for him. He's been around the block for
You said you have one big blind less than me?
For the start of the game, yes.
I think I now have 635. You?
I didn't play hand, so I have 595.
I want to point this out, Donnie, and this will probably get overlooked by most people watching this. Martirosian and Boika both speak Russian. They were just chatting in Russian in between hands. The hand started, and they switched to English, which is it's such a small little detail, but it just goes to show that as an international player, speaking in your native language, it is so easy just to continue to do that because that's just what you're used to. But both Martirosian and Boika understand the gravity of the moment. It's a final table. It's a serious business. They're not looking to angle shoot anyone. They're just going to switch languages to make sure everyone understands what they're talking about during the hand. And I think that's not a small thing. I think that's something we should highlight.
I like it. As a multilingual person yourself, I'm sure you are very appreciative of that.
Absolutely.
And I'm very jealous of it. The inability of my dumb American self to be able to do that.
Are you sending your kids to like a Spanish immersion school?
I mean, no, but I mean, I definitely want them to learn Spanish. One of the babysitters, she actually asked us. She's like, "Do you mind if I speak Spanish to the kids?" I said, "No, please.
Yeah.
Go nuts," because that's when they'll develop that language so early. It's much harder to learn a language when you're older, like myself. Like if I want to learn Spanish now, my brain is like already molded in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I have probably.
When you're young, it's a sponge.
I have a much better chance of learning Spanish than you do.
100%.
Because I've already learned 2 languages. I speak quite a bit of German too, so it is a benefit to know multiple languages, not just because of that one extra but also that it keeps your mind sort of more flexible.
Да, точно, бля. Я сейчас вспоминал, думаю, что в клиент заходить надо. Так.
People in the chat that are wondering, no, this is not the main event. It says it in the title. This is the final table of the online hybrid event. These guys played online to get down to the final 8. And here we are on the off day of the main event. Main event players get 1 day to rest before the final table starts tomorrow.
Yeah, resting today. I know they have some interviews that they need to do as well with the production staff, with some media. Get that out of the way. And then I'm sure many of them will also be studying quite a bit, looking over some simulations.
I mean, you pointed out something, Donnie, that I think is not as common as we might think it is as far as the profession of the players at the table.
Yeah, so looking over the bio sheets last night for the final 9, everyone lists their profession as professional poker player except Jordan Griff, who listed his profession as supply chain manager. And he's the big chip leader. So everyone's a professional poker player outside of Griff, who is not. He has a regular job, supply chain manager out of Arizona. So it's just interesting, right? I mean, it feels like that tournament is a pretty tough tournament when it gets down to it at the end. But if you do want to lean into the amateur or more recreational storyline, well, you got Jordan Griff up top. He's got the chip lead atop the final 9. And let's see if he can close it out against the pros.
Back to the action here. Boika in the small blind, raising it up to 80K. Martirosian perhaps with a bit of a reshove situation here, Donnie. Ace-8 offsuit.
Yeah, he might be thinking of this. I mean, these two probably have a lot of history here.
All in.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, wow. The
He's gonna
shove
get
comes
called.
in, and
Yep.
Boika snaps him off. Martirosian's tournament life.
It's one of those spots for if you're Martirosian, you're probably viewing the raise from Boika as pretty polar. Like he's really just got the bottom of the range where he doesn't want to have to go to a flop. He also doesn't want to give a walk. Or he's got close to the top of the range where, like this, he's just going to snap you off. And it was the latter, unfortunately, for Martirosian, and we'll see how this runs out. We already did see Debregeas chop when dominated.
All right, Boika's tournament life on the line. And an 8 on the flop immediately. No hearts for the Belarusian. And he is looking for a queen and a queen only to stay alive in this event. I'm seeing some raised eyebrows behind those sunglasses. Boika, of course, not happy about this one. 9 on the turn is not going to do it. He is, however, adding a few outs. A queen or a 10 would keep him alive. Otherwise, Martirosian is going to take this one down. River card, the deuce of clubs, and that is it. We have our first elimination from this final table. Aliaskei Boika from Belarus takes home $33,000, and Artur Martirosian jumps up to nearly 1.2 million in the process.
Massive boost for Martirosian. You mentioned him getting up to 1.2 million. Probably not what the other players at the table wanted to see, but it was also one of those spots where it probably didn't matter. You know, you don't want Boika with the chips. You don't want Martirosian with the chips. You almost just want these guys to chop it up because now either of them with more chips with up over $1 million is going to be even tougher to battle with.
Absolutely. Martirosian knows exactly what to do in every spot, so it seems. Wolff and Debregeas still looking for a double up here to be comfortable again. But, Donnie, relatively speaking, we are quite a bit deeper than at yesterday's final table.
Yeah, we are. I mean, Debregeas still has, 12 big blinds to work with, so not like in the complete danger zone. Yes, of course, he's probably feeling a little bit and wants to get his money in and double up, but 12 big blinds, he can probably manage some. Ahead of him, Wolff, 17 bigs, also manageable.
His first pay jump was rather small. We're up to 39,000 now. Next player, though, gets 53 as Jasinevicius. Gives me a little bit of Elton John vibes. I kind of dig it. I'm digging the glasses.
I like it.
With the jacket here. He's going to raise it up with a6 to 50K. Witmeyer finds a real one here in the big blinds. Donnie, are we more inclined to come along here? Do we want to 3-bet every so often? How do we approach a hand like this?
I would lean to probably just call. I mean, I know ace-jack is good. You can probably get aggressive with it at times, yes. Just the fact that, you still have those two pretty short stacks, Wolff and Debregeas, that you don't want to go too crazy against. Also, I mean, I'm not sure I would want to get flatted in position. Not that I hate it there from Witmeyer, and he does come with a larger sizing, which is nice, of course. So he does deny some of those flats in position. I'm also really curious to if the players have been able to put together who's who. Meaning, does Witmeyer know that Jasinevicius, was so-and-so online? And then he was playing with that person online for a while. So then he might know that he's opening a little bit wider in later positions, so then he can more confidently 3-bet in ace-jack from the big blind. That's kind of an interesting dynamic that we have no idea. Or they just kind of coming in cold. And they're all just like, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Oh, Artur Martirosian's here? Oh, I didn't know I was playing against you. Like that sort of stuff. Wolff comes in with a raise, ace-9 of spades. Action over to Snider in the big blind. Don't know his cards just yet, so a little bit of a reader error there, but okay, he does give it up. Wolff's going to take it.
If you're just tuning in for the first time, it's the final table of the online event from earlier this summer. It's a 5K buy-in. It's called a hybrid event because they played down to the final table on WSOP.com, and now they are here at the Horseshoe in Las Vegas to play it out for the bracelet and the top prize of $258,000. Star-studded field here. Crushers all around. Martirosian and Sotiropoulos, probably the two most well-known players here. George Wolff, also no stranger to the big final tables, along with Brandon Witmeyer. Ignar Jasinevicius, probably one of the more lesser-known players, but he also has played the big buy-ins for quite a while now. Action folds to Witmeyer on the button. To Giftis in the chat says, Sotiropoulos 2 final tables? Correct. He was at yesterday's final table. He's back at today's final table, so he could win bracelets on back-to-back days, which will be kind of cool. Cool narrative. Witmeyer attacking from the button, and Debregeas finds Jack 10 off in the big blind here. Donnie, roughly 10 bigs. Can we still just call here, or are we reshoving sometimes?
Merci molt. Merci.
I think maybe at times if you think Witmeyer's getting out of line, you know, you can put this in. I do like the sizing that Witmeyer came with, you know, going a little bit larger here on the button. He is going to jam it.
Can I get a count?
Wow, Witmeyer quick with the response here.
The larger sizing on the button from Witmeyer, you know, makes it a little bit more difficult for Debregeas to just call out of the big blind. If he had come in with min, for example, then maybe he just defends, tries to hit something and go from there. I like the shove here. I mean, most times you're going to have a ton of equity even when you do get called, and he is called. So let's go.
Wow, deuces versus Jack 10.
Va les 18 contre 2.
As you can tell on the screen here, Jack 10 suited is the favorite.
Interesting. Okay.
Small pocket pairs ain't what they used to be, Donnie. Debregeas awaiting his fate here. Needs to hit though, as Witmeyer reduces, is ahead at showdown here, and ace-queen 4 is going to tilt things slightly into Witmeyer's favor. Debregeas looking for a king, a jack, or a 10. No backdoor clubs available to him. Turn card. The 8 of hearts.
More outs.
More outs. Deuce is still in the lead. Is this a case of too many outs for the Frenchman?
Might have been from the start.
All right, let's see the river card. Can Debregeas find it? It's the 3 of hearts, and deuces hold up here as we lose our Frenchman from this final table. Loic Debregeas takes home $39,750, and we are down to the final 6, who are all guaranteed $53K.
53% coming in, turns into 0, and he's out the door. The Ducks hold. Brent Hanks somewhere, absolutely loving it. Probably fist pumping at the sky. Quack, quack, baby, for Brandon Witmeyer. Up over 1.8 million for him.
A little, just a little bit more.
Do you know anything about broadcast? Do you know anything about broadcast? What's the delay and where the broadcast?
Action over to Snider on the button. Only has to contend with Wolff in the big blind should he opt to play this.
Because I can't find it in.
Due to Debregeas busting. Dead small blind here.
You think it will be on YouTube?
Yes, Artur, it will be.
Should have had a big sign at the table here. giving people directions to the WSOP YouTube channel. As
I do agree. I feel like we need to do a better job of telling the players where it is.
WSOP channel, of course, has not been streaming this summer, so it's easy to overlook, but thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it. Also appreciate Rokas giving us help on the pronunciation here for Jasinevicius. That is not easy to say. We can also just call him Ignas. Elton John. He looks even more like Elton John in that photo.
It's great. I mean, it's for sure the glasses.
Action back on Martirosian with Jack 8 of hearts. Those end up in the muck, and the dynamic is changing a little bit with Wolff and Sotiropoulos being a bit shorter. Players are not going to get out of line when those two are in the blinds.
All right, guys, next hand, 15:30.
50,000.
Snider is going to continue to stay aggressive here, especially in these late positions, and attacking the shorter stacks in the blinds.
Sorry, you said WSOP YouTube? They have own channel?
I want to go out there and talk to Artur.
I know.
And Snider gets another one through. He was effectively the button there.
Lines up, 15:30.
2 players down. 6 remaining. Payouts for this event can be found in the description of our YouTube video.
How much now? 585.
Yeah.
I really like these online to live
Poker
hybrid
Go
events.
Twitch and WSOP
I almost
YouTube.
feel like they should all be like this
Oh, yeah.
in the summer.
Why not Poker Go YouTube?
Martirosian, fan of the Poker Go channel, clearly.
I mean, I understand. But I mean, you know, same thing.
We gotta
It's
spread-
still out there on YouTube for free, man.
We
I
got to
mean,
spread the love a little bit.
Yeah.
Martirosian, ace, queen of hearts. By the way, if you're looking for recaps and highlights from the main event, the PokerGo YouTube channel does have those. We've been posting daily highlights. Martirosian with ace queen suited raises it up. Action folds over to Jasinevicius.
Gives up the 8-7 off, and another pot pushed Artur Martirosian's way as they shut the lights off on us in here.
Jacob Snider finds 9-8 suited. Donnie, normally a hand like this, very playable. But with the 2 shorter stacks to your direct left, it becomes a bit more tricky.
I think he's going to come in for a raise here. Oh, no, he's not. Actually, I take that back, because Martirosian's in the big blind. Changes things.
So that has an effect on your opening raise?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we saw when it was just Wolff and Sotiropoulos behind him to act, Snider was certainly
like
willing to
900?
just get in there. More people behind to act.
Thank you.
Also somebody like Martirosian, a little bit deeper from the big blind. Probably not something you want to be opening a little bit looser into, so he does just get out of the way.
Do they show the payouts? No. They don't give you much to work with for the onlines, do they?
You have no idea, but I might be able to get to.
We got Jack 8-3 here on the flop. Martirosian open-ended.
Martirosian comes with 30K here, and that gets it done.
Here's a look at the payouts brought to you by GTO Wizard. 53K for 6th place. The ultimate winner will take home 258, so lots of money on the line.
Martirosian limping here, 7-3 of spades. Witmeyer checking back. 5-4 off.
Nice looking ace-king jack flop with 2 spades. Now, both players with small cards here, but Martirosian's going to feel a whole lot better about this one, being the owner of 2 spades.
Yeah, probably also feels like he has some advantage here on this texture. Does come with a bet, 50K, 50 into 90, so slightly over half pot. Witmeyer out of the way. Martirosian chips up a little.
With the levels being 30 minutes, these players, of course, have lots of time right now to find good spots, but as we saw at yesterday's final tables, ultimately those blinds will catch up with you, and then all of a sudden the dynamic changes drastically. Sotiropoulos, as dominant as he was at the final table last night, right now he is just in a position to sit around and wait. And look at this, Witmeyer finds aces in the small blind. Going up against Snider, both players with a big stack here.
Raise.
100,000.
Just going to come with a raise.
Notice the sizing, 100K at 30K big blind. Blinds have gone up, so a little bit over 3x.
Any incentive here for Snider to come along here?
He could certainly come along. I mean, King 4 suited is a playable hand. You have position in this hand. You know that your opponent is very deep. Should you smash something, you could really win a big one. And we got a good start here. Queen Jack 8 with a couple of spades.
Really would just have to know what he had when he 3-bet me again.
Wow. Queen Jack 8 gives Snider tons of potential, and Witmeyer with the ace of spades also will not be unhappy about this.
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm my, so I'm guessing. It's very tough, obviously.
What's the delay?
Yeah, I'll find out.
What delay?
Strange dynamic.
Wow, look at this. Action goes check, check. Snider, of course, happy to take the free card with his draw. Sort of surprised that Snider, or that Witmeyer with aces here gives free cards.
Yeah, but he also has the ace of spades in his hand, so
I have 14
might be a little less worried about giving,
Yeah,
flush draws some free outs there. But also, if Snider is flattening position,
It says that it just started.
it's also a bit of pot control because the Queen Jack 8 might connect
like,
a lot with like the types of hands that Schneider's going to be playing in position. So
I don't know if they'll actually.
if you start just coming out betting on the flop, are you then bloating something with what is ultimately one pair in a spot where you have a really good position chip-wise? You've got a couple other short stacks at the table. Probably no need to go too crazy.
And Snider, with his draw, just comes along and makes the call. Sizable pot here going to the river. It is the 4 of clubs. Snider ends up with a pair. But of course, pales in comparison to the aces that Witmeyer holds. Witmeyer reaching, understandably so. Wants to get some value from his aces.
125,000.
That's 225, about half the pot.
Yeah, I know Schneider picked up that 4 on the river, but might not be enough here to try and pick something off. Turn into his right here, studying Witmeyer. It looks like he's breathing a little heavy, but you never really know what that means necessarily. Doesn't mean the person's nervous about a bluff. Doesn't mean they're excited about a value hand, you know. Also, even more so in this event, having come from the online realm first. Does give it up. Well done there. And decent pickup for Witmeyer as he hits 2 million.
Your payouts, so I'll be putting them up on the.
Perfect. Thank you.
They're up there now. Just so you know, I didn't have those before. I called them. Good luck, everyone.
I memorized them.
Bob,
I memorized them.
one of the best in the business.
Not really, but kind of.
You check the structure. That's it. Yeah.
Someone got a call on the landline here.
It really does sound like a landline.
It sounds like the old landline.
It might be a landline. Who the heck knows?
Still 6-handed at this final table. In case you're just tuning in, Witmeyer extended his chip lead a little bit here, taking a pot off of Snider, but stacks are still relatively deep here.
Raise 60.
This is one of those always fun spots when you're a bigger stack on the button. You know, you don't want the bigger stack between the two opponents in the blinds and the small blind Snider to play with you, but you're almost fine going against Wolff in the big blind because he's much shorter. Both players get out of the way. Witmeyer chips up some more.
Sandwich in the chat, sending me some love for the Netherlands losing to England in the Euros. Yeah, very sad, but hey, I'm not expecting to ever win anything in my lifetime.
Yeah.
The sport is much easier when you just always expect to lose at some point.
Biški mažiau nei lemą.
Witmeyer comes in for the raise again. Donnie, Witmeyer turning the screws a little bit here on the other players. He's creating a bit of a gap between him and the rest, and he wants to get aggressive here.
Yeah, of course, understandably so. I mean, you talked about it earlier. Could we see that big chip leader start to emerge? It does look like we're starting to see that with Witmeyer. It also seems like he recognizes the situation that is presenting itself, where as long as you have these shorter stacks at the table, he's just going to continue to press on the gas and hopefully stretch things out and put himself in really a great position to win the tournament. Sotiropoulos does defend here out of the big blind.
Sotiropoulos defending from the big blind, but not finding anything to continue on, and it's one of the issues with being a shorter stack. Aggression is going to pay off, and it does right here on the spot.
.2 now.
Yeah, separation is definitely very meaningful, and this goes back to what I said earlier about how these table dynamics quickly shift when one player gets a big chip lead.
And Martirosian is, you know, he's kind of in a weird spot where he has to navigate probably conservatively, just given that Witmeyer is to his direct left. Does come in here with the 10-9 suited. Nothing to play for the two short stacks, so.
Martirosian attacking with 10-9 suited. Jasinevicius with Jack-10. Yeah, grabbing some chips, coming along, making the call. Three, 8-4, 2 diamonds. Martirosian flopping the flush draw and the overcards.
Oh, the goes to the no. Ah, no, da, nu e spasa. Puțin online jucarea. Nu. 456, whatever. El la dreapta mea toți Wolff are și el puține.
Would expect a bet here from Martirosian.
Vreo 10 blinduri el.
2 diamonds, 2 overcards. Also, you know, connected to that 8 nicely. And that should just get it done here.
Big blind avea 12 blinduri. Merge, dar
Tough to continue if you're not the aggressor. Sotiropoulos with a quote-unquote monster on the button here, Donnie.
He hasn't been getting much to work with. He did have that ace-jack earlier that he ended up chopping with, but puts in one of those committing raises here. Quick folds from the blinds and nice little pickup. Very important because it does allow him some separation between where Wolff is.
the button here.
Raise.
Jasinevicius raising to 60K. Witmeyer can defend here. We've got still some room to play post flop.
Ah, whatever, that's okay. Ah, no, no.
Yeah, deep enough. Maybe smashes something and can stack his opponent. Of course, this is not going to be it.
Ace King 5 rolls out on the flop here. Jasinevicius with top pair. Finally finds some playable cards and a favorable flop to chip back up again.
40,000.
Should be a quick fold here from Witmeyer, and it is.
Just tuning in, my name is Remko Rinkema. Donnie Peters alongside me to call the action of this final bracelet event stream before the main event final table kicks off tomorrow on Poker Go. This is a bit of an extra treat here for all you poker fans out there. Final table on Poker Go tomorrow.
Is it bad art if I keep the card
I
on
see.
the red deck? So I'm replacing it. Okay. Good.
Raise 70,000. Sir.
Martirosian makes it 70K. Witmeyer calls, and Snider in the big blind also finds diamonds and comes along. King high flop with diamonds could make this thing very interesting here. Instead, we get 4, 5, 7 rainbow. Martirosian finds a 7. Snider with a gut shot. Witmeyer just left with 2 overcards. Martirosian continues for 80K.
Yeah, pre-flop aggressor here.
5K on flop.
All right.
Online. Online. What? No points. Okay. Thanks.
That's a 25K fantasy reference there. Sounded like Chino Ream was checking in. Yes, this tournament does not qualify for 25K fantasy or ODB fantasy scoring if you're in there on the action. But it does qualify for Sotiropoulos' bankroll. That's all he cares about.
Coming back to an 10,000, bringing 3,000, blind with 5 and 10,000. Washing the start, get ready to go.
320.
Jasinevicius here, ace-5 of diamonds. Going to come in for a raise.
Raise 60,000.
Ace-jack suited for Martirosian in position. Going to play it as a flat. Witmeyer and Snider out of the way. Wolff also into the muck. That fold from Wolff drops him down below 300,000 in chips, so sub 10 big blinds for the next hand for him. King 10 deuce rainbow, 1 club, 1 diamond.
Bet 65.
1/3 pot here from Jasinevicius. Would expect some resistance from Martirosian. Is drawing to the nuts. Of course, has the backdoor clubs. Could also just have the best hand at times. Artur does make the call. 10 of diamonds on the turn, pairs the board, second diamond. Working for Jasinevicius. Comes with the check over to Martirosian. Checks back. 6 of diamonds on the river, so nut flush here for Jasinevicius via the back door. Martirosian
Okay,
got just ace high.
Online.
Half pot. Gets a quick fold from Martirosian.
And look
Nice
at this.
chip up there.
Yeah, back up over $1 million, and stacks are starting to even out. All eyes on George Wolff here, our short stack. Wolff down to 9 big blinds as we play 15K, 30K. Looks like we have some Greek fans in the chat. Sotiropoulos still alive in this event. 18 big blinds. Anything can still happen.
6 lines. Dealer 2040. 20,000, 40,000. For your season.
$290. 10 bigs.
Action folds to Wolff in the small blind. Jack deuce suited seems like a shoving candidate. Or am I getting out of line, Donnie? Oh, Jack deuce does go in the muck.
I mean, it's
I thought the suited properties here would be enough to shove.
probably queen deuce shoving, queen 3 suited shoving. Jack deuce maybe just a little bit lower than Wolff would like, so he's going to hang on. You know, when you have something like a, let's use the queen deuce for example, you know, that queen can interact with like the top part of the range that your opponent might pick up with. The deuce blocks the bottom, so you can open up things like, you know, the 9/7s of the world that your opponent can have. Of course, being suited helps too. Some similar properties there for the jack deuce suited, but Wolff just electing to not get involved.
Raise 60.
Witmeyer continues with his aggression, raising it up to 60K with A7 suited. Snider perhaps with a little bit of Hollywood, or perhaps he's up to no good here with 10 deuce suited. I'm sort of shocked here, Donnie, that he's even considering anything here with a hand this weak. What's the point?
I mean, it might just be as simple like, maybe at some point I just want to put the hammer down, right?
Does get out of the way.
I mean, Witmeyer has been kind of liberal. He's had good hands, Witmeyer, right?
But what
I
are
mean,
you going to do with 10 deuce?
It might even just be like one of those gamesmanship tanks where, like, I'm just going to think about it to make you maybe pause next time you go to open, right? Just something very simple like that, you know?
Fair enough, fair enough. Jasinevicius with a defendable hand in the big blind.
There are also other things that we don't necessarily know, like, I mean, listen, there are common stalling tactics that are used. Maybe you're trying to set it up where so-and-so gets in the big blind, you know, if the clock is ticking down, you know, stuff like that that we just don't know, right? We can't see the clock. We don't know exactly what's happening out there. Maybe he just needed a moment, right? Maybe he just wanted to say, like, you know what? Let's just, everyone just calm down. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to count some stacks at the table, and then I'm going to fold my hand.
Witmeyer continues here on the flop, and Jasinevicius has to let it go. Donnie, this might sound super basic and on the surface here, but what we've seen a lot here is raise, defend, c-bet fold. Like, we've seen it over and over again. It seems so odd to me that that is still something that happens so frequently when we know we're going to get into a position like that, especially when we call with hands that do not scream strength, like an ace-4 off.
Yeah, I mean, I think these players are just kind of going to play their ranges pre-flop, at least the deeper stacks are, which then falls by, you know, they have to approach things probably a little bit more on the conservative side post-flop because, again, of where the stacks of Wolff and Sotiropoulos, most notably Wolff being so short, where those stacks are. So, yeah, maybe take some opportunities, try and see some flops. Maybe you flop something big and you go from there. But ultimately, you don't flop big things. Like that's just how things are. Most often, you're just going to whiff, right? So then that leads to the check fold, where the aggressor just wins with some sort of c-bet.
After 10 deuce landed in the muck after some deliberation, ace king is not going to follow that same pathway. He's going to come in for the raise to 80K here under the gun. Interesting to see that Snider is going for a slightly larger size here, making it 80,000. Everyone gets out of the way, over to Witmeyer in the big blind. And so far, you know, it's been the recipe here. Someone raises big blind defense, and then we go see a flop. Four, 6, 5, rainbow flop. Witmeyer whiffs, but so does Snider. Check, check on the flop. Witmeyer again with the check on the turn.
Maybe a different card here on the turn. Witmeyer might have opted to lead, but that jack, not so much, even though he is kind of wrapped around it.
Yeah, we go. Check, check to the river, and Snider hits a king on the river. Witmeyer left with just queen high. How do you feel about the passive approach here with ace-king, Donnie?
I think you have enough, excuse me, yawning. I think you have enough showdown value that you can check it back here. I mean, not sure you're going to be really getting called by worse. You know, maybe some draws, like something with a 7 in it. But other than that, you know, especially on the turn, probably going to get calls from some 6s, 5s, and 4s out there. Also jacks. So just take that showdown value. Don't really need to make this pot any larger than it seems and go from there. But here on the river, understandable value bet, of course.
70.
Now, you know, if your opponent did have a 6, 5, or 4, you can look to target one of those hands. Maybe he even turned to jack. You look to target one of those.
Snider gets a fold from Witmeyer, even though he wanted to get some value here. Actually still 6-handed, and Wolff still our short stack. Look at this, we're
light show.
Testing the lights for the main event final table. As you can see, no play today. Main event starts tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time on PokerGo.com. Lon McCarron, Norman Chad, and Maria Ho on the commentary.
$20,000, $40,000 now.
Хорошо. Ela dreapta mea are 275 și eu am... n-am trimis payout-ul, mă lăga. Care sunt payout? Nu interesează? Bani, nici 40%, 53 și 72. Așa e mult. Eu pentru bani.
9, 6, 10. Rainbow flop here. If you're
El la dreapta mea are 27.
not paying attention right now because the action has been slow, right now is a good time to pay attention. Witmeyer flops a 9 with a gut shot for the chop. Snider already has the straight.
Yeah, you always love flopping these types of hands when you're Snider because you slide in there, of course, with the nuts, but you also unblock all the pairs, which is just, you know, you're foaming at the mouth here, just hoping to get the money in.
Turn card is the 9 of diamonds. Donnie, are we going to see fireworks on this turn card?
Yes. I mean, is there a better turn card? An 8 puts a 4-liner out there to a straight, right? So that might slow things down a little bit, even though it does give Witmeyer a 2 pair. But a 9 trips? Like the match, sir. Fireworks about to go off.
Right,
225, which is
almost pot.
Yeah, almost full pot. So Witmeyer sizing up here, just coming with it. He probably thinks, great, like if my opponent's got a 10, I'm going to value hunt and I'm going to size up. I'm just really going to go for it here. Snider over there like, oh yes, here we go.
Now if you're Snider here, Donnie, are we raising a pot-sized bet? it almost seems hard to find the right size here to not come across like you do actually have some kind of nut hand.
Yeah, and maybe you just call and try and keep, all your opponent's weaker hands in, weaker than trips, I mean. But if you're also pegging him for trips, maybe you like to just put it in. There it is.
There it is. The shove comes in. Snider jams the turn after Witmeyer bets pot, and the glasses come off. This is a huge decision, as we can see on the screen.
And then get a count.
Witmeyer not drawing dead, Donnie, but what is he supposed to do here?
This is a tricky spot. I mean, I think his instincts initially are like, whoa, which in a way is good because what is this guy doing? What type of hand does he have? Risking the stack that he's risking against me here. I have a 9. There's 2 out there. Does he have a better 9? Does he have 7-8?
9:30 here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30.
I mean, what are we supposed to do here? I feel bad for Witmeyer.
Yeah, does he ever do this with some sort of combo, meaning like 10x of diamonds? Maybe like Jack 8 of diamonds, that has the draws turned even more equity? Or does he just call with those in position? I mean, this is a paired board. How does he perceive my hand?
Hand of the final table playing out right now. Witmeyer, if he folds, no harm, no foul. He's got 1.7 million behind. If he calls, we basically have the entire tournament riding on this hand. What a disgusting spot. Wow, he makes the call. We have a straight versus trips.
Gotta hold.
Witmeyer nodded, saying 7-8, kind of like he knew it, like it was going to be 7-8 a lot of the times there, and unfortunately his instincts were right. Still outs, of course, not out of it yet, 20%.
Wow, River ripped off here like a Band-Aid. It's the 5 of hearts, and 7-8 for the 10 high straight holds up here, and Witmeyer left to 760K. Snider now, massive, dominant chip leader with 2.5 million, and this guy is going to potentially run over the table.
Did he break?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
I would expect that we see Snider just absolutely get on the gas here. He's been leaning to get aggressive when the opportunity has presented itself already, and now, given his stack size, the gap he has between the other players at the table, I think we're going to see a lot of pressure applied from him.
Not working.
All right, so Snider on 2.5 million. Probably taking a bit of a breath here, realizing what he has just accomplished as the upcoming pay jumps look to be a lock here for our chip leader. Oh, here we go. Snider puts Wolff all in, and Wolff is going to happily call it off here with Queen 7 of diamonds. And we got an all-in showdown here. Snider with 8-6, trying to reduce this field to 5. Wolff looking for a double up. Wolff awaiting the flop here. A slight favorite as Snider is live. Here comes the flop. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 3, 6, 5, 2 clubs. And Wolff raises his hands like, what the heck am I supposed to do with this one? Snider, pair and flush draw. Wolff looking for a queen or a 7. Or the 4 of diamonds. 6 of spades on the turn.
Nice. 3 outs, right? Yeah.
Wolff has 3 outs, one of which has been folded. He needs a 4 to make it straight. River card is the 3 of diamonds. Close but no cigar. And George Wolff will be our 6th place finisher. He'll take home $53,000. Could not get anything going here at this final table. Has just been waiting around for a chance to double up. And sadly for him, that chance never materialized.
But a couple ladders, so, you know, not the worst result. And then there were 5. $73,000 guaranteed. Jacob Snider, a.k.a. Simple Snides, running away with this thing. You mentioned it earlier. Could we get one of those big chip leaders running away? Right now, it's Snider.
I'm telling you, Donnie, this happens every time we cover a no-limit event. One guy has all the chips, and the other players are just waiting and waiting. Pay jumps can be found in the description on YouTube. Just as a reminder, the final 5 are guaranteed $72,000, then $106 for the final 4.
That is a raise to 80.
This tournament started with 256 players. It was a $5,000 buy-in. And Sotiropoulos now, the short stack, facing a raise from Witmeyer.
All in.
And he moves all in.
How much is it?
Wow. Look at these cards, Donnie. Witmeyer has him dominated, but calling the shove with Queen 10 for the majority of your own chips, never a fun spot.
Yeah, this is
480?
not going to be fun. You can be dominated.
400.
I thought he said I called, but
500.
Okay. You can be dominated here, of course. Yes, you know, you can be just being not ideal spots if he's got ace jack, king jack, stuff like that. I mean, some pairs, yes, you're flipping with, but I think I lean fold here. Witmeyer out of the way. Good jam there by Sotiropoulos.
Raise to 80.
You have like 9?
Yeah, like million.
900?
More.
Yeah.
99.
Snider getting aggressive here, effectively on the button. 9 deuce with some clubs. Sotiropoulos here. Gonna come with it. There it is. Ace 5 of diamonds. He's in there.
I mean, these are the kinds of spots where you turn your tournament around. Getting a few of these through will not only give you more chips, but also more fold equity. And he is now just ahead of Witmeyer. Seeing lots of people in the chat still wondering about the main event final table. The main event has a day off today. The players have a chance to rest, study, perhaps have a nice meal with friends. Action not getting started until tomorrow. Streaming starts at 3 p.m. Pacific time on PokerGo.com. Donnie and I will do a 1-hour preview for the YouTube channel, as we have.
We will?
Yeah, we will. Oh, we're playing stud. Up card here for Jasinevicius.
Love it.
When it starts, will be the first round.
Take a water. Bottle water.
How are you doing? Hey, good.
Won the name, Drake?
Yeah, yesterday.
Good.
Yes, it was played out here live, yeah.
Sotiropoulos, indeed, the champion from yesterday's 3K final table here. Sitting in the same spot. Jasinevicius limping in here, looking to play a blind battle with Martirosian.
Player.
Ace 8-3 with a couple spades. King high still best for Martirosian.
Bet of 40.
Small, slow pots might be the recipe here until we reduce the field any further.
We can see another barrel here from Jasinevicius. Does have that 6 of spades. Of course, the open ender here on the turn. There it is, 125.
125.
Martirosian out of the way. Nice pick up there.
Donnie, who has the hardest seat or situation currently here at this table?
Probably Jasinevicius. Just Martirosian has clearly showed that he's, you know, going to play stuff in position. We obviously know how good he is. He's going to be a handful. Snider has the chips, yes, so, you know, it can put Witmeyer in some tough spots, but while Snider has been aggressive, I don't think he's like come in there with like some 3-bets, gotten 2 out of line, you know, just yet.
Still 5-handed, still these guys playing for 258K up top. Michael in the chat says, your coverage of these events has been great and got me through a rough month. Just wanted to say thanks, guys. Michael, hope you're doing all right. Appreciate the kind words. As always, Donnie and I love to provide this coverage. We try to cover as many events as we can with the entire crew that works around the clock to make this happen. And it's both nice that we're at the end of it because I'm admitting that I am feeling a bit of fatigue, but also It is pretty sad that we're
All in.
almost at the end of the World Series of Poker.
All of it.
2024. And Witmeyer here, 670, moves all in. Snider, Donnie, by the way, raising under the gun, so perceived range is a bit skewed towards value. So Snider even less inclined to call here with the Queen 9.
Definitely.
If this was blind on blind, maybe he would be more tempted.
Yeah, maybe. But given those positions, you know, like you said, it's going to be more value heavy there.
Where are you heading after the series? You go back home? Where do you go after the series?
Back home, yeah.
Take a rest?
Small blind, please.
Not for a long time.
You've been on the road a lot, huh?
Yeah. I live in the road.
What's next? EPT?
Super high roller ball in Cyprus.
Yeah, all right.
Then online, then EPT Cyprus.
Raise to
90.
Snider earlier with 10 deuce, a bit of tanking now, 10-3. Perhaps thinking of calling with the suited cards here, and he does make the call.
2 players.
Not intimidated by the prospects of playing out of position versus Martirosian. Nothing wrong with the all spade flop when you're holding 2 spades. Martirosian
Bet of 60.
hoping that Snider got any part of this.
Gives it up. Next hand. Martirosian up over 1.4 million now.
Last, you saw something?
Did you see it? I didn't see, but
I'm not
it
sure.
almost
Okay,
got- Okay, I didn't see it.
I didn't see. I don't know. Up to you.
But
I didn't pay attention.
I don't know.
But
Uh,
I think
how you
it-
want, like.
I'm okay.
I think
I
it
don't
was
know. I
a
didn't-
small black card, but I'm not
So
sure.
he saw. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, something. What's this card?
I'm right?
Yeah, this card.
Okay.
Missed
I
deal
didn't
there.
see- I didn't see my card.
Good call.
Bad card. It's my award for my honesty.
Okay. Good.
I remember, Donnie, when the pandemic was going on and there was no live events, the one name I saw in every lobby, every time there was an online high-stakes event, Artur Martirosian. I feel like
Yeah.
the pandemic was his breakout.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Didn't Poker Go run the Poker
2800?
Masters, was it?
Yep.
740.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He crushed a lot there. I mean, he plays everything. He's an absolute beast. Snider here in the small blind. 8-3 suited.
Option. Two players.
He limps and Sotiropoulos checks the Jack-9 off. Here we go.
Jack in the window right away here for the Greek pro. Nothing out there for Snider. Sotiropoulos probably hoping that Snider's going to take some stabs here.
I got 25-50 in hand.
Snider does just that. Takes a stab. No reason to raise here. Sotiropoulos comes with the call. Deuce of hearts on the turn makes things a little more interesting here.
Yes, it does. Schneider might be inclined to continue betting here, which I don't think Sotiropoulos would hate. Top to earn some more chips, given his stack size. Good spot to earn some more chips.
$155.
There's the bet, 155.
Now, if you're Sotiropoulos here, do we have to protect our hand in any way, or are we best off just to come along with the call here?
I think he can just call here. You know, keep everything in from your opponent should he just be barreling off. I mean, you have a really strong hand here against a chip leader who has shown aggression, who has certainly, you know, been willing to bet with you know, worse than premiums or just have some bluffs. Kind of a static card here on the turn with this deuce pairing the board. If you're Sotiropoulos, you know, you also have that 9 in your hand, which blocks your opponent having some straight draws, also blocks some straight outs should he have a straight draw, so you kind of feel good about that card in your hand, which can allow you to then call more on the turn, as he did. Now we'll see if Snider just wants to empty the clip here.
I mean, this is a very, very...
I don't think you're going to be thinking 8 high is winning.
Right.
No, he does just check and shuts it down.
If we're Sotiropoulos here, we can still go for value here, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's, you know, there's going to be some worse hands that can call you. 7s, some 5s. I also don't think it's too wild for him to just knuckle back. I mean, I think he's going to lean bet, but, you know, you never know.
Eight high.
Let's check it back.
Oh, look at this. The check back, just in case. And Sotiropoulos now up to $1 million, and he's becoming a real player now at this final table.
Yeah, the reason why I wouldn't have been surprised to see a check back there is because it's kind of like, you know, how much of the additional chips you can get worth it compared to possibly risking your tournament life. And he opts for the check back. Conservative, yes. I think he knows that it was conservative, like the way that he checked. You know, just kind of, in a way, the way he slammed his, you know, hand down on the table, being like, yeah, this might be kind of nitty, but given the situation, I'm just going to check it back and hopefully just pull in the pot.
Right.
And he does that.
Still five-handed in case you're just tuning in. It's a hybrid final table. This event started out online. They played down to 8, and they came back for the final table right here in Las Vegas.
The raise.
Έλα ρε, τι κάνεις. Κάτσε, έχουμε τώρα, παίζω το χέρι και έχω.
Pretty evident that Schneider's just going to continue to be the chip leader driving the action, especially in the later positions. You know, just going to open pretty wide, pretty liberal once things fold to him, which is understandable, and you like to see it, just keeping that pressure on. Trying to put his opponents in some uncomfortable situations as best he can.
Έλα, πού τι κάνεις. Έλα, εδώ, χαλαρά.
Jasinevicius with the nice one here, ace-10 off. Going to attack Martirosian's big blind.
Had 8-3 out. Yeah, I think pretty standard barrel.
All in?
Yeah.
All in.
It's going to come with the shove, 20
Got
bigs.
them nice.
You're 1.1, yeah?
Less, like, right now, asking or right jam?
Doesn't matter. Right now, yeah. Just for future.
Either one's the same answer.
Yeah.
Martirosian will just add the blinds.
8. Thank you, Ray. 9, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, 1, 1.
Small blind, please.
These guys all came here to win a bracelet, collect some money on this lovely
You don't have this, no?
Monday afternoon.
No.
Not a lot of chatter at the table, Donnie. Not a lot of casual back and forth. This is all business.
We got the casualness out of the way yesterday with Sieber's table.
Oh yeah, that was out of control.
A couple of 8s here. Jasinevicius raising it up on the button, and Witmeyer finds a couple of 4s in the big blind as the short stack. Could he come with it? There it is.
All in.
Wow.
700?
Witmeyer's timing
A little more than
off
7.
here.
I think he's going to have to call this, yep.
Oh yeah, calls made. 8s versus 4s. We got an all-in showdown. And Witmeyer, who held the chip lead here for a while at this final table, now one run out away from being out the door. And Jasinevicius looks a little bit nervous in the background.
I mean, of course. This is an important spot for him, as it is for Witmeyer. Witmeyer lost that chip lead, running trips into Schneider's straight. See if he can get back in the game with a double here.
Witmeyer seemingly already resigning his fate, getting up, grabbing his belongings, looking for a 4.
Oh, there it is!
4 on the flop. Brandon Witmeyer, sit down, sir, sit down. You got a feel for the Lithuanian, who's now looking for an 8 or backdoor straight draw, and the deuce on the turn will eliminate that straight possibility. He is now looking for an 8 and an 8 only, as Brandon Witmeyer, who remains standing, by the way, is now 1 card away from being back in contention, and the king on the river seals that one.
How much?
Witmeyer puts his mic back on.
Nice hand.
Thank you. Okay, what are we doing here? Let me see.
Yep.
1, 5, 6,
600.
and here, let's see this over here. Let me see. And you can just double check. 7, 35, 5,
735.
5, 6, 7, 35.
Yeah.
Okay.
735.
5, 6, 7.
All right, well, Witmeyer back up to 1.5
Next
million.
time, just
Donnie, the one moment you're out the door, the next moment you're second in chips.
I thought you were supposed to yell 4 before you drill it off the tee like that. I mean, right?
Wait, hold on,
Yep.
was this right? Okay, there's 735.
Brutal card there for the Lithuanian, who is now down
735.
to just 7 big blinds.
And back to an interesting ICM
next
dynamic
time, don't throw it all in like one pot, just so I can
with how short he is.
count it.
I gave you too much?
No, well, I'm gonna double check. But he just kind of like threw it. You know what I'm saying?
1 for 70 plus 75.
But I made sure, you know, that was correct.
Thanks.
Is he good?
70. Yeah, I think it's fine.
100,000.
Sotiropoulos, ace-6 suited. He's found a playable one again. And Martirosian, ace-king of clubs. My mind's going a million miles a second
1
here.
million?
Yeah, 1 something.
I always think, it's going to be 3-bet. Then Martirosian has a big decision. What is he going to do? Like, I'm already like 5 steps ahead of myself without even knowing what Martirosian's plan is here.
240.
240,000.
Witmeyer and Snider out of the way. Back over to the pre-flop raiser, Sotiropoulos.
Now, if you're Sotiropoulos here, got about a 20 big blind stack, ace-6 of spades versus Martirosian, who can have more than just premiums. What are our options here, or do we simply have to, go back to the drawing board? Yeah, Sotiropoulos back to the drawing board, lets it go as much as it pains him.
Wait.
What was it?
6 of diamonds.
Diamonds. Look at the burn card.
Action folds around to Snider in the small blind. What sort of hands do we just give up here, Donnie? Because attacking Sotiropoulos on the surface seems very easy. You just put a little raise in there. The guy is going to have to shove or fold most of the time, especially if we size up a little bit. But do we get ourselves into trouble too much if we use certain hands for that?
I think Snider is just going to constantly attack. Like, even though it is Sotiropoulos, and he's going to play back at you at times and also be a little bit sticky with some flats in position, I don't get the sense at all that Snider cares. Like, just keeping it simple, like flat out, he's going to just press the gas. He has been, you know, playing that 8-3 suited, for example. Like, you know, here, he's going to get hit with the jam, but, like, I mean, until you push back against him, then he's just going to be constantly aggressive. And so, listen, so far it's worked for him, so how can you really fault him?
Yeah, and Sotiropoulos has been, you know, bobbing and weaving his way through this thing and still sits on a very nice stack. He's in contention as much as anyone here.
Small blind.
Fives from Martirosian under the gun.
6 bigs. Huh? 6 bigs.
Jasinevicius is just telling him, I only have 6 bigs. No, don't worry about me.
Raise 130,000.
Vamos aí, cea mai bună, cea mai rea.
Jasinevicius with Jack 7 off the big blind.
Cea mai bună, cea mai rea.
Not the hand he was hoping for off the short stack.
Couple of fives here for the chip leader.
Raise 100,000.
Jasinevicius here, ace-9. I think he's going to get this money in here. If he's been paying attention to Snider, certainly has been wider than ace-9.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to do the one chip behind trick.
On.
And there it is, Snider all in. Quick call there from Jasinevicius. And ace-9 is going to be at risk here versus pocket fives. Second all in.
Good luck. Thank you.
In a few hands here. He had 8s all in versus 4s and was almost up to 1.5 million, but now he is almost out the door as King, Queen, 7 rolls off the deck. Jasinevicius looking for an ace, a 9, or a club to survive here. 630 in the middle. Turn card. The 6 of hearts. No change. 13 outs here for the Lithuanian pro. Or is Snider going to send him to the rail? River card. It's the deuce of spades. That's not going to do it. Ace-9 will fall as the 5s remain the best hand. And we are now down to the final 4.
Can we do it fast? GG.
Jasinevicius takes home $72,000 and the final 4 guaranteed 106.
Just not his day, really. You referenced the 8s losing to the 4s. There loses a flip. What are you going to do?
Yeah, brutal. Brutal to find yourself on the rail, seeing Witmeyer sitting there with 1.5 million that could have been yours.
What's his name?
Big blind, small blind.
Don't
I remember.
You're big blind, you're small blind.
Hold on. No. It's just one big blind because he was the small blind. It's going to be a dead button.
Yeah,
right?
button.
Yeah, it'll be a dead button.
Dead button, yeah. So small,
Yeah,
big.
still small blind, big blind.
Yeah. We don't have it. So it's still small.
Yeah, he's small, but
Small.
he was big blind that last hand.
Oh,
Dead
you're
button
big
still
blind?
means there's
Okay.
a small blind and a big blind. Four-handed play. Everyone's got 7-figure stacks.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't have king cards.
What was your screen name?
Simple Snides.
Simple stuff. What was your screen name?
Glesnar.
Lesnar.
Yeah.
Glesnar?
Yeah.
Oh.
Good play. Last year.
Good. Glesnar.
You beat Seidel in that huge spot, right?
I have
Sevens.
yeah. 1.2, 3, a little over 1.4.
Should have lied. What's your screen name? Phil_Helmuth 99.
Tim Duckworth.
$160. 160.
Raise 160.
Shortest stack right now, 20 bigs, 2 people on 30, and Snider still leading here with 50 big blinds. So lots of play left, lots of room to maneuver. I'm pretty sure Martirosian welcomes the opportunity here to try and outplay his opponents with all the experience that he has at the highest stakes.
You guys have any problems?
Что ты, зайди сюда. Вон там заход.
Ah, 1, 1,5, 1,8.
Action folds to Witmeyer in the small blind, finds
2,7.
ace queen. Chat is spewing off some legendary online poker handles. Let me know your favorites. I see OMG Clay Aiken in the chat, of course, iconic. Snider with queen 4. Dominated.
It's a good hand.
Witmeyer showing off the ace queen. Snider happy that he didn't get creative here on this one.
1.03 started with.
Tina is asking in the chat, why did he just show him his hand? Well, I think it's probably just to show him that he's not messing around. He's just raising with good hands. Perhaps a bit of psychology going on there. Whether it'll work against these top players, maybe not, but you know, try to use everything you can find to your advantage. Not a lot of people on the rail, but there is some buzz in this room, Donnie. There's a few more events still playing out.
Yeah, there's the final table, the $3,000 mid-stakes championship that is happening. I think it's day 2 of the $25,000 horse is in this room as well. So a couple 100 yards over in the grand ballroom, you have
Thank you.
Day 2 of the 1979 Poker Hall of Fame tournament. So that's happening, you know, on break. People come on over, stuff like that. And then, of course, setting up for the final table of the main.
Raise
Oh, yeah.
100,000.
Main final table right around the corner.
Oh, also the 10K 6 max is in this room. So
10K 6 max, almost $1 million up top in that one.
Call.
How you doing?
Hello, bro. Congrats.
Thanks.
Snider versus Martirosian here. Snider raced to 100K. Martirosian defended the big blinds.
All right, here's the horse. Next hand, blinds names are up. 6,000 small blind, 12,000 big blind, 3, 12, 24, 7.
120,000.
Snider continues for 120. Martirosian finds himself a pair. Is there a path forward here for the Russian?
I think so. I mean, you can certainly check call here, I think. No need to go too crazy. Still have some good equity in your hand. Probably likely ahead in a lot of spots. 10 on the turn. That's an interesting card because I think probably a lot of the bluff range for Snider that's going to be constructed on a flop like this probably contains like the Jack 10s, the 10 9s, 10 8s, stuff like that. You know, the hands that, you know, if he's got like a 10 8 suited, Jack 10 suited, something like that. Once you get this sort of flop, you really don't have much like showdown value in terms of like checking back. Those are going to be more of your ace high type of hands, even some king highs. So then you want to bet like the 10 highs, the Jack 10s, you know, maybe even some Queen 10 in there as well. But then, of course, this comes out on the turn. So if Snider recognizes that, like I think he does, you know, pretty good spot to continue here. And Martirosian does give it up, so well done there by Snider. I think that was some good board reading on his part.
Raise?
100,000.
Snider raising it up with ace jack. He's going to continue to apply that pressure, hoping to extend this chip lead. Sotiropoulos back down below $1 million.
Snider just staying on the gas. I like it.
Cards.
Yeah, Martirosian will be, excuse me, Sotiropoulos will be all too familiar with that approach because it is exactly what he did at yesterday's final table. He was the one with the big stack pushing people around. Martirosian's never going to pass up on a spot like this.
I don't think so, but I could also see him passing up because Schneider's in the big blind.
See, that's so interesting. That's something that I probably have to work on. I would just automatically assume that Queen 7 on the button is always going to be a raise, four-handed.
Yeah, but you know Sotiropoulos is shorter than you. You don't want to jeopardize that chip position. And you also know that Snider has been willing to play pots with you and hasn't been backing down. So normally, yeah, Queen 7 on the button, probably come in with a raise and just play it in position. But given this specific situation, just take it out of that range and put it in the muck. Witmeyer's got a good one here. A couple of jacks. Comes in with the 3x raise, and that gets defended from Snider. Overpair here on the 9-high flop for Witmeyer. He also has that jack of hearts with 2 hearts on the board. Snider whiffs. We'll expect at this point Witmeyer's just going to continue and do what he can to try and get money in. He does. Comes with 200K into 350. Gets it done. Quick fold from Snider.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a break.
All right, looks like we'll be taking a short little break here. We'll see you guys in about 15 minutes.
Welcome back to the main event and the Rio Poker Room. Chip leader Jamie Gold is hooked up in a hand with smack-talking leader Eric Molina. It is Gold's turn to act.
300.
And he is going to raise to 300,000 after the turn. Back to Molina now.
I raise. Got a raise is coming up. You raised me 200? Yes.
And a re-raise from Eric Molina.
Raise.
Might as well put it all in.
Might as well.
Don't have that much left.
I'm all in. All in.
There you go.
Jamie should be careful what he wished for.
Big re-raise back to Gold. Molina flips his all-in button, ends up in front of Jamie Gold, and it's fired back.
Hey, don't be an ass.
Excuse me?
Asses in glass houses shouldn't throw chips.
Just because you're losing, that's fine.
I'm losing.
Yeah.
Who's sitting there with no chips?
Losing this hand, sir. Call me then.
You want to make a side bet who lasts longer in the tournament?
Stop. Sure.
Yeah? How much?
How about you get in this hand right now?
How much?
This is a classy confrontation.
Call me then.
Molina testing the patience of chip leader Jamie Gold.
You're going to fold. Stop wasting time, so. You just got caught, so why don't you just hurry up?
That's at 70,000.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know you did.
Gold will fold. And Molina takes the pot.
I'll see you at the end. I mean, sorry, no, I won't.
I'll be honest with you, Lon. I don't like walking into a card room when this is what I see in here. I wish they would take it outside to like Antarctica.
Well, thanks for your 200,000.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Well, the hand is over, but these two just will not let it go. The jousting continues.
Yeah.
Excuse me, penalty.
I did not say that.
No, thank you. Penalty.
Floor, I did not.
Thank you.
I did not complete that word. First of all, floor, I did not.
Camera? Bye.
No, I didn't complete the word.
He said the F word.
No, I did not.
Take a walk.
Yes.
Bye.
That's wrong.
Bye.
Now, this would not be the first time that Molina would be sent off with a penalty.
What's that, shadow puppets?
6 minutes on the clock. You can come back in. Oh, cool.
That is just.
Well, with a relatively young field here at the main event,
Thanks for your chips, though. That was
this
great.
type of juvenile behavior was bound to crop up under the pressure of the millions of dollars that they are playing for, but that still is no excuse for the schoolroom antics.
Well, now he can make a phone call and curse all he wants.
So Molina sent off to cool his heels. As Sue with a hand to raise.
You know that Sue is loose and that he can have a wide range of hands here. His chips are very much in play, but if you just flat here, you can take your 10s in position, and that's never bad. If you ended up 4-betting, you're kind of turning your 10s into a bluff.
There is the call. So big pot between the two big stacks, 15.2 million in the middle. We haven't seen a flop.
Got two players.
Ace queen against tens. Oh, wow.
Bet 3 or 6 million.
And this is the opponent that you want to make a set against. He doesn't value his tournament life as much as almost anyone else who's still left.
And he's sticky.
He's sticky. If he thinks he's the best hand, he will stick chips in. If he thinks he can make you fold, he will stick infinite chips in.
So there's just a call.
And all the more reasons for Timothy Sue to think he might have the best hand here.
Sue checks it.
Checks.
Check, check. Interesting. This has to be 15, something like that. Would you make it extra big to make it a little suspicious?
Yeah, he has to make it look like he has king jack, ace king, ace jack.
Wow. Most of the yellow going in.
Raise.
Now, what does Sue see in that?
Calls.
He made the call? Oh, a crushing blow to Timothy Sue. And once again, Hossein Insan is the recipient of a monster pot. Twice in one day.
From Argentina, you have to have.
He knows no
Yeah.
rappers. How much more clear is he? Does he have to be?
Then we change music.
Okay.
All right, looks like we're cutting out a raise. Go 5. Ooh.
Here they come. He cannot get away.
That's tough, man. 18 bigs, you got jacks. It's just.
Aces one time.
He's gonna hate to see this.
What did he say? Ace king one time?
No, aces one time.
Oh.
Sorry, they
thought I was wondering.
dealt to Cruz. And yeah, Creve can afford
and
it.
aces have the jacks and the queens.
Wow.
Queens.
Just painful.
Bad shape.
Painful for Creve too, but he can afford it.
Oh, really bad for them.
No, heart's hard.
Oh, yeah, the heart? Yeah. I thought it was
Heart is hard.
You know what?
Hard. Six of hearts.
No. You know what? No. Let's put a 9 heart out there.
2 of clubs.
10 heart.
Another
10
heart.
Not a bad
Queen
card
of
for
hearts.
Lee.
The only one in play.
Lee's drawing it to a 9.
Wow.
Non-heart 9 will give it to Lee in a really dirty fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no. Pick up 3 more.
There's the river. And the ace of hearts. Oh, wow.
Wow, for the double knockout.
Gets the flush.
Count it. Looking to raise it up. He does raise it to a little more than 2.5 million. Now Saout in the big blind. And 2 queens for the Frenchman.
If Saout wins, he could ignite a moneymaker type effect in France. By the way, Saout won a $50 online satellite into the main event. Moneymaker won a $40 satellite in 2003.
Saout with a re-raise to 5 3/4 million. Back to young Joe Cata.
Come on.
All in.
And he moves all in.
And this would be for half of Antoine's stack. He wants to take a deep breath and make sure he hasn't run into aces or kings.
Antoine does make the call to Bacata at risk. and an embarrassed Joe Catta shows his deuces, and Catta in big trouble.
I'm surprised Joe Catta pushed there, Lon. He had 40 big blinds left and just misread the strength of Saout's hands.
Catta has put his fans through the ringer here tonight. If Saout can hang on, he'll own almost 120 million chips.
Saout began this hand with 80 million and the chip lead. Catta will have 80 million and the chip lead if he gets lucky.
Darvin hoping Catta doesn't get lucky so he can be heads up. Here's the flop. Oh! A deuce for Catta. He gets the set.
Unbelievable for Joe Catta.
He did it to Jeff Schulman and now does it to Saout.
You don't want the best hand here, you want the best luck.
Wow, Joe Catta now in dominating positions. He's a tray on the turn. He keeps the lead.
It seems like Joe Catta should be 100 miles away now with no chips. He keeps coming back, and now he's about to become the chip leader.
Saout now the one looking for a miracle. Darvin thinking heads up, may have to wait.
Catta needs to dodge a queen to double up.
River card is a 6, and yet another big double up for Joe Catta, and with that one comes the chip lead. Saout taking the bad beat quietly.
And Greenwood looks a little pained, like he's going to do something.
To be fair, he's pretty balanced with that. He always looks in pain.
Mm-hmm. How come you don't give me any credit for that?
It's just your face, Norm.
Well.
Oh. Ace, ace. It's been a while since we've seen those two cards. But he's relatively deep with Sue. Two of the bigger stacks of the table.
With an economy of motion, a call. Aces against the biggest stack in the room.
Looks like about 1.8. Yeah, so he doesn't size up here.
Yeah. Timothy Sue's seeing a turn card here. He's getting 4-1 on this call, and he's less than a 2-1 dog in the hand.
Call. He does call, and they're building a monster pot here in progress to become one of the monster stacks in the room. Here it comes.
Bet 3.5.
It's no damage to Sue, though. He's got quite the stack here.
Yeah, I want to keep that big stack.
All in?
Oh, my
He
goodness.
says all in.
We get out of line at all. He's barely played any hands. Sam has almost no information on him except that he seems to be a pretty snug player.
And this decision for all of Sam Greenwood's chips.
He just built himself a monster arsenal. He sees this opportunity in front of him. He does make the call with aces.
Sue
turns over his draw.
Sorry, I just wanted to see if somebody was busting at the other.
That was good.
And Sam Greenwood is your main event chip leader here late on basics. Greenwood sits down.
I'll take it.
Sue watches this river card come down.
Oh,
the king comes home for Timothy Sue, sending Sam Greenwood to the rail.
Robert has aces again.
I came here prepared to take one hit. So if it happens, good luck to you. If it doesn't happen, good luck to me.
In a tight spot with pocket kings is Jose Manuel Nadal.
Come on, just flop me an ace. I don't even want to sweat. I don't want to fade a 2-outer.
I just checked my notes. Every time Jean Robert is in a hand, he's talking and his opponent is not.
Deuce 10 queen. Like that. Come on, dog. No face cards. We don't want to see a face card. No more. A nice little deuce ball would be just fine.
A nice little deuce ball would be just fine. The Jean Robert Balan story.
9 on the turn.
Good.
Nadal turns a straight draw.
Nadal.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have our final table still underway here in Las Vegas at the Horseshoe. My name is Remko Rinkema, Donnie Peters alongside me, Jacob Snider. Still our big stack with 2.6 million, but it's anyone's game here as there is still quite a bit of play left here at this final table. There is a very, very nice first prize up for grabs here, $258,000 awaiting the winner.
Okay,
Final four
sure.
guaranteed $106,000. Should be a fun battle here for the bracelet as this international field looks to be reduced to its champion here over the course of the next few hours. If you're with us in the chat, please let us know where you're watching from. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. This is a bit of bonus coverage, as I'd like to call it. These online live hybrid final tables. These players started out online, played down to the final 8, and here we are with just 4 players remaining. If you want to watch the full WSOP top 100 hands of all time, you can find that compilation on the PokerGo YouTube channel. Don't miss out. Looks like the chat was enjoying those highlights. Let me tell you, they are phenomenal. They're really, really fun to watch.
$30.60?
Yep.
Yes.
It's been quite a battle here
He's got too
today.
much in there.
Witmeyer has had the most swings of any player. Blinds now up to 30K, 60K, with a 60K big blind ante, going up every 30 minutes. Donnie, hard to really pick a favorite here. I know Snider, of course, has the chip advantage, but all accomplished players, all players basically, you know, one big hand away from the chip lead.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like anyone's game to some degree. I think Sotiropoulos probably needs a double up, but he's dangerous whenever he's remaining in the field. Have liked what I've seen from Snider, especially when he's been at the top of the leaderboard. Certainly been willing to be aggressive with things. See if that continues during four-handed play.
Snider just with the limp here. Sotiropoulos with the
170.
sort of crappy looking jack deuce, but he is going to raise. And Snider lets it go. Quiet atmosphere at this table. Not a lot of spectators either. People are either playing in their own events or maybe have already gone home. Donnie, WSOP really winding down right now.
Yeah, just these final, what, 2.5 days, if you include what we got left today here at the WSOP. Of course, handful of tournaments still going on. The biggest one out there in terms of field size, the closer kicked off today. Schneider in there on the button with the raise. 120. Aces.
Wow.
Sotiropoulos.
Sotiropoulos, the short stack right now. He has only 16 bigs. Are we leaning towards shoving here right away?
I mean, he could come with a non-all-in 3-bet. It just looks very strong, right? Which is interesting.
And instead,
does come with that 3-bet.
65.
265, okay.
Very small.
Yeah, very small. Not a lot of wiggle room here to keep on playing. And Snider correctly lets it go.
Start with like 1.2.
Yeah. 1.260, I think.
Martirosian limps in from the small blind. Witmeyer in the big with a nice looking jack 7 of spades. King deuce 3. That's all Martirosian here.
Bet 60.
Pace of play seems a bit low, Donnie. People seem to be very much playing.
Everyone's just chilling, which is interesting because aren't these 30-minute levels?
Yeah, I mean,
so you would think they would want to pick it up.
They're not getting a lot of hands in per hour. You're absolutely right. Now, on the other hand, Donnie, what incentive do Witmeyer and Snider have to give Martirosian and Sotiropoulos more hands to potentially make their life a lot more difficult? I don't want to say that there's a big advantage, or I would say skill disparity between Witmeyer, Snider, and then Sotiropoulos, Martirosian. But if we go purely by the numbers, the Russian and the Greek pro do have the most experience.
Yeah, no, they do. I mean, the faster you play, the faster hands go around the table, the faster the blinds go around the table. So it could possibly eat into their stacks a little bit at an accelerated rate.
Martirosian, king 3 suited, raising the button. Now for Snider here, do we sometimes 3-bet the king 6?
I think that there's an argument to be made that you just put it in here in some cases.
Wow.
Do have some blocker properties with that king there.
All in.
There it is.
Wow, Snider comes with the shove, and Martirosian quick with the fold here. Well done by Snider. Big stack has 43 big blinds. The short stack has 20. You could not ask for a more even match.
What do you got, like 1.2-ish?
1.2 before the hand.
Okay, thank you.
Snider in the small blind with ace deuce. Very playable as well. For the people in the chat, I know you're all following along with the World Series Poker main event as well. Let's hear some predictions for tomorrow. I know that many of you, of course, were eagerly awaiting, perhaps, seeing Kristen Fox at the final table. That, sadly, did not go as most of us had hoped, but there's still plenty of great storylines to look out for. So if you have any predictions or hot takes, please share them with us. Donnie, give me your top 3 as far as main event final table goes.
Top 3 finishers?
Yes, give me just a 1,
Is
2,
it who
3.
I want?
Who you think?
Who I think?
Yes.
Nicholas Ostedt 1. Brian Kim 2. And Jordan Griff 3.
Wow. The heads up between Ostead and Brian Kim might be the toughest battle we've ever seen on the main event. Felt perhaps reminiscent of Martin Jacobson and Felix Stevenson in 2014. Hard to argue with your choices there. Griff, of course, with the chip lead. I'll go for a wild card. I'll go Nicholas Ostead as the champ, Jason Sagel second, and I'll go Joe Sirach in third.
Pretty good choices there.
I get that.
Big blind.
Oh, that works. Easy. Easy.
It's all you.
Seeing a few predictions in the chat. Some people saying Sirach #1, Kim #1. Lots of love for Lena 900, Nicholas Ostead. It is great that we have a nice blend of characters once again here in the main event. Action pulls to Snider in the small blind. He's going to come with the raise.
Raise 180.
Makes a 180 to Sotiropoulos, who lets it go. And the tactical battle will continue. Payouts for this event are in the description of the video, in case you're curious about what these guys are playing for. Snider on the button with Queen 4 suited.
120.
Snider really starting to run away with this. Has played well all final table. Have been really impressed by what he's shown
Georgios,
here.
how much you have?
905.
I have 965.
Okay.
Feels very tactical what we're watching right now, Donnie. Feels like almost like a game of chess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to have that big mistake that cost them a lot of money, cost them a chance at this bracelet. You know, you have Snider, who's really just driving the action as the big chip leader, and then everyone else is kind of just jockeying for position, you know, trying to better their placement so they can ultimately reach to heads-up play and then go from there.
Both Martirosian and Sotiropoulos now down to below $1 million.
Raise 120.
Aces again for Sotiropoulos here. Comes in with the raise. Snider finds an ace-7.
Could we see a rejam here from the big blind, potentially pressuring Sotiropoulos?
I mean, he might. He has shown willingness to put a lot of pressure on before. We, of course, can see that he's going to walk right into it, and he does.
Wow, Sotiropoulos here with a very, very nice chance to get back in this battle. Massive spot for him right here.
I'm the all-in player. So move the all-in button. Yeah.
Got to get it right for Sotiropoulos. He's at risk. Okay. He's got the aces. 10-8-4. A couple of spades out there, so some hope for Snider. Jack on the turn. Snider now looking for a 9 on the river to make a straight. Queen of spades on the river. Aces hold for Sotiropoulos. He's going to double up. Get up to almost 2 million, which is right there with Snider.
Now we're literally flipping coins for a couple $100,000.
905.
Perhaps this the stage during an online event where you would be inclined to look at the numbers and chop, but the WSOP fairly ruthless. These guys playing for it all. Currently guaranteed $106,000 with $258 up top for the eventual winner. Can you fault Snider there, Donnie, for stepping on the gas with A7?
I mean, not really. He's just been, you know, really trying to just apply max pressure whenever he can. That ace does block some good holdings. Jack 9 suited in the small for Snider. Completes. Queen 4 suited for Sotiropoulos. He checks his option. Heads up here to the flop. 180K out there. Ace, Jack 8. 1 heart. Snider takes the lead with that pair of jacks.
Sotiropoulos potentially, you know, looking at that club and thinking, I can maybe represent that ace or have backdoor clubs to fall back on.
Back. 60.
Minimum bet here from Sotiropoulos, which was 1/3 pot. Can't imagine Snider's going to go anywhere here. Does make the call. Pot up to 300,000 now. Backdoor club coming in.
Donnie, I felt it. I felt the backdoor clubs, and here we
go.
are. Sotiropoulos giving himself a bit more equity here.
I mean, I think he's getting there, to be honest.
Well,
just had aces. He's been hanging around, right? He's got the momentum from winning the bracelet yesterday in a similar hybrid event. So, yeah, I think it's just Sotiropoulos' time.
He's going to reach for chips here.
Back. 225.
225 is the bet. Snider, of course, probably considering his jack's still going to be good a lot of the times here, but do we really want to pay off 2 more streets there to find this out?
I think he probably has a little too much of a hand here to fold on the turn. An 8 can probably find the muck, but a jack I think is a little too much. Sotiropoulos is going to have some back doors like this. It's going to have just some bluffs maybe. Wow, he does put it in the muck. There you go. Sotiropoulos takes it.
Pair of jacks into the muck. Fairly easy almost for Sotiropoulos to take this one down. Is this the type of hand that when your friend tells you about the hand that your opponent had, that it'll sort of invite you to apply more pressure in the future?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think probably given these stacks now, the distribution, where Snider probably recognizes that after that double up by Sotiropoulos, he's a little bit less inclined to battle with him just because of the damage that could possibly be done. Also having to play out of position.
Rates 120.
Snider with ace-4. He's going to get back to his raising ways.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
I'll come back.
That is a raise to 120.
Hearing some whispering in the background, perhaps some players receiving intel from the live stream. Let's not forget, there's serious money on the line here and a bracelet. 106K for the final 4, 258 up top for the winner. Any little bit of information you can get
450.
can really help. Martirosian takes this one down.
120.
Sotiropoulos with the monster here, ace-queen suited. Looks like his chip stack is continuing to trend in the right direction. Adam is asking in the chat, do these count as real WSOP bracelets? Yes, they do. And so do the fully online events as well. But personally, Donnie, having covered 2 of these final tables now and watching this one, I feel like more of the online events should have a live final table. It adds more cachet to the actual victory. You get a cool winner photo, and you also get a chance to really watch these guys play.
Yeah, I like it. You know, I think it's a really good thing to introduce. They've had a bunch of them this year. I think they can continue to increase that. Also helps, you know, if there's ever any speculation of some funny business happening, well, you get to see these players in the flesh play the final table. So I like it.
Yeah, you got to show up. Here's the flop. Jack, 7, deuce, 2 spades. Sotiropoulos overcards and the spades to go along with it. Happy to continue here, of course, going up against the chip leader. And Snider seemingly getting pushed around a little bit here by Sotiropoulos.
Yeah, tough spot him. You mentioned the toughest seat at the table. And now might be Snider, given that Sotiropoulos has chips. And with that pot, he's taking the chip lead.
So Sotiropoulos, who got his second bracelet last night, now potentially on his way to his third. Now, we're a while away from that, but he's taken the chip lead for the very first time here at this final table. Now, if you're Snider, is it getting into your head a little bit that you can't seem to get a pot off of Sotiropoulos? And does it perhaps invite you to be a bit more passive, to wait for better holdings?
Yeah, I think, you know, once Sotiropoulos is kind of really just getting the better of you in most pots that you enter against him, it's going to force you to adjust. And that's part of poker, and that's part of tournament poker specifically. You have to be able to, you know, crank it up. You got to be able to dial it back at times. I think right now this is Snider's time to dial it back a little bit. Yeah, you do relinquish some power over towards Sotiropoulos, but that's fine in the grand scheme of things. Changing gears is a very real thing, and the best players in the world, those that succeed and come out on top of final tables just like this one, they have a very good understanding of when to change the gears. You can't just be, you know, pedal to the floor all the time. You also can't just be sitting back there waiting for aces all the time, right? You gotta move with the flow. You gotta kind of feel the energy of what's going on behind or around you.
So you are saying momentum is a thing?
Yeah, I think it is.
Snider on the button with Jack 7. It's going to come in for the race. Sotiropoulos. King 6 off in the big blind.
Acela asta că am eu 2,1 mulțumesc, iar el la fel. Artur are vreo 900. Sala de...
Martirosian going to make the call. Feels like people just don't give up on their big blind anymore. People just always seem to be defending here as Queen, Queen, Jack falls on the table here. John in the chat says, we saw yesterday what happens when you give the power to Sotiropoulos, and you know, you are correct. He did not relinquish his chip lead once he got a hold of it. Pushed people around. Had a few showdowns go his way. This event, by the way, had a buy-in of $5,000. 265 players entered.
60.
And Snider, with his pair of jacks, is going to bet this out and take this down.
Lines are up to 40 and 80.
Oh boy. Now, how much is this going to change the dynamic, Donnie? Blinds up to 40-80, stacks getting shallower, perhaps getting more and more into shove, reshove territory?
I think things will kind of continue like they have been. You know, you'll probably see Snider and Sotiropoulos stay active when they can. Witmeyer's in this weird middle position because now with that big blind up to 80K, Martirosian is sitting with 10 big blinds over there, 10.5 big blinds. So if you're Witmeyer, comfortably in third ahead of Martirosian with 4 players left, you know, you don't want to do anything to jeopardize your spot going forward. Snider here comes in with the raise.
Raise 160.
Sotiropoulos in there. Jack 10 of clubs, 160K min raise. Action over to Snider. Gonna give up the queen deuce, I'm assuming. Pause first though. There it is in the muck.
Looks like we have one dedicated railbird there, observing the action both on his phone and also in real time, perhaps relaying some of the hands to a friend at the table as Martirosian picks up King 9 offsuit. Action folds to Snider in the small blind. 9-5 off.
Has he moved?
He has not. Is he napping? We're not sure.
He might be. We can't see behind the shades. Into the muck it goes. Walk for Georgios Sotiropoulos. Feeling it now. Bracelet number 2. 2 in 2 days. What would that be, number 4? He wins it?
I believe so. I believe it would be his 4th bracelet.
Clubs. Thanks, guys.
Jam from Sotiropoulos here.
I think I don't need to to watch on second.
Looks like it's an ace.
Oh, wow. Martirosian looks at the ace, makes the call, just shy of 10 big blinds for him. He's going to be at risk here with ace-3 offsuit. And Sotiropoulos with king-6 looking for a scalp, but he's the underdog here.
Волыни. У нас туз 3. А там показывает, да?
Ace-3 versus king-6. A kind of a coin flip, but Martirosian slightly better than that. All right, here comes the flop. Ace in the window and another ace right behind it. That'll seal it here right away.
725.
Okay.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy indeed. And
Неплохой флоп.
not only does Martirosian double up, Snider is also back in the chip.
725.
Yeah, that does really even things out behind Snider. And four-handed play continues.
Oh.
Was it turned upside? Having a hard time today, huh? It's okay.
Don't try so hard.
I know it's a big table, it's tough.
Too much power.
Yeah.
I think.
Snider with the monster here. King Jack of Hearts. Monster, of course, in the context of four-handed play. Stack sizes the way they are. This for sure a premium.
Ace to 160.
Raised to 160. Witmeyer in the big blind, perhaps looking to defend.
Call. There's 160.
Two players.
And look at this. Ace 7-8. Witmeyer with two pair.
Probably thinking he got a really good flop too, because that ace out there.
Yeah. Snider lucky to not flop a king here.
I checked.
Check. Bet of 130.
Witmeyer, like Donnie said, hoping that Snider has an ace here.
390.
Ace to 390.
Check raise it at 390. Do you mind the check raise here?
No, I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you unblock the ace, which there feels like a good amount of times that your opponent is going to have that, being the pre-flop raiser from under the gun. So you can put some pressure there, get some value from those hands as well. Also some draws out there that you want to charge, right? You know, there's diamonds, there's straight possibilities, so smaller SPR too, so I like Witmeyer just coming with the check raise, just trying to get the money in with his two pair. Also a spot where, you know, I mentioned the draws, but the draws can also be action killers in some spots. You know, let's say a diamond rolls off and then, you know, Snider just shuts down. You know, it doesn't, not just with the hand that he had, but let's say he has an ace, for example. Maybe he elects to just shut it down. So, you know, I like the play.
Șeful, avem toți azi la stack acum. Avem toți azi la stack.
Yeah.
Next hand, Martirosian finds
Like
ace 4 spades. He's going to come in for the raise, most likely here.
Legend.
How much, sir?
Make up your mind. It's probably going to be 160.
It might be larger. You know, it might be one of those committing type of raises here.
Excuse me. 600 announced. I take back what I said.
All in.
And Snider finds ace-king suited, moves all in. Nowhere to go for Martirosian, and we have a 3.1 million chip pot. Martirosian's tournament life on the line with ace-4. Snider, supported by friends and family in the background, looking for his ace-king to hold up. This is one of those hands that you'll remember forever because it could determine the eventual outcome of this tournament. Jacob Snider in pole position here to take a massive lead into three-handed play. 10-8-6 rainbow. So far, so good for Snider. Adrenaline must be pumping at the highest possible rate here as the 6 of spades hits on the turn. Martirosian now with an ocean of outs. Also, some chop options here. Spade or 4 would get him to double up. River card is the 7 of diamonds, and that is not going to do it. Absolutely massive hand for Jacob Snider as Artur Martirosian is sent to the rail in 4th place. The Russian pro takes home $106,000, and the final 3 are now guaranteed $145,000. I've been told Jacob Snider's dad, mom, brother, and girlfriend are all in attendance. Andrew, Vicky, Bradley, and Brooke. Must be nice to have all that support on the rail, Donnie, for a moment as big as this one.
Love to see it.
1.6 before the hand.
Thank you.
All right. Snider on 3.4 million has over 50% of the chips in play.
1.6 before the hand.
Before the hand, yeah.
Closing in on what could be his first WSOP bracelet.
Aces for Snider. Hello.
Wow. What a way to continue after winning such a massive one.
Base 225.
225 is the raise. Jack 6 of hearts for Sotiropoulos. If the trend of defending the big blind continues, we might see some post-flop action here.
And there it is.
All right, here comes the flop. Sotiropoulos looking for hearts. King, queen, 6. Small piece here for Sotiropoulos. Ace is still well out in front. Spades to go along with it here for Snider.
Snider comes with the check here. Sotiropoulos checks back.
4 clubs on the turn, not changing a thing here. Perhaps this is where Snider starts going for value to build a pot.
Would expect Snider to start betting now. little bit of a, tricky slow play on the flop. But now, let's start getting some money in. 530 out there. Can size up a little, maybe?
250 is the bet.
Okay, a little bit less than half pot. Never mind.
For Sotiropoulos, would the 6 ever be enough reason to continue here?
It could be if, you just think he's going to come with some bluffs. I don't think you're going to be able to call 2 streets unimproved, but 1 I think is fine right now. Nine of hearts on the river. Sotiropoulos sized in the sense that if Snider wants to get greedy, he could just ask for it all. $1 million back, just over $1 million out there.
Snider going to do his own betting. Looks like 600K.
600.
Sotiropoulos now faced with a big decision. Would you file this under a hero call, or could this still be considered straightforward in the sense that Sotiropoulos unblocks spades, does have a pair that could beat bluffs?
Yeah, and he also blocks the Jack-10. I mean, I still think it'd be a bit of a hero call should he try and pay this off, but
Sotiropoulos seriously considering making this call here.
question for Sotiropoulos is, what hands do you beat that are taking this line? If Snider's taking this line with aces, he could probably include some kings in there. Not sure he'd play a queen like this. Jack-10, I think, probably just continues on the flop, given this board. Sotiropoulos gives it up in the end.
Not too happy about it, but look at this. Snider now up to 4 million. Sotiropoulos down to 1, and Witmeyer.
Are you from Vegas?
No.
Got a lot of friends and family in?
Yeah.
Snider not wanting to spill the beans here.
Did they fly in for this?
Yeah, a lot of them already here.
Oh, nice. There you go.
I believe that is his girlfriend, Brooke. Donnie, it's always more nerve-wracking having no control, standing on the rail.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, pressure could not be higher on Snider right now. Probably has to fight off thoughts of how he's going to pose in that winner photo. You just got to stay locked in, focused on the moment here.
Just put it in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just
there you go.
Take
these guys pick up a hand.
Take a page out of Sotiropoulos' book here.
Both players going to get out of the way. This is when it gets fun when you're the chip leader.
Where are you from?
New York.
New York? Oh, nice. You been playing all summer?
Not all summer.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, I played a handful of events, maybe like 10, 12.
Yeah.
A couple of online because it's nice. You can just stay at home.
Yeah, one card.
Wait,
Good.
I'm.
order right?
I think you did it wrong. I didn't get a card. I think just bring him in.
Okay.
I think you put him first. It's been a long summer. I know, me too.
Looks like there might have been some issue with the shuffle machine, but it is back in play.
Glesner, how much do you have?
1 million. Before
1 million. Okay.
And you? 1.5? 1.4?
1.4 and change.
Okay. Yes.
Snider jams here from the small blind, Jack 5 suited. Sotiropoulos puts the King 8 suited into the muck.
Right.
Wow. Are you surprised to see that?
Yeah, I thought we might see a call there.
Right, next dealer coming in. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thanks.
Snider really has a massive advantage here over his two opponents, especially as far as those ICM situations go. Final three right now. Guaranteed 145 with 192 awaiting second place and 250 at a top for the winner. Sotiropoulos hoping just to see a flop here, keeping it friendly. Ace Jack Jack on the flop. Sotiropoulos trips, very well hidden here.
Yeah, just nothing there for Witmeyer though, so we'll expect he just gets out of the way right away.
Change.
Yep.
Thanks.
Sotiropoulos, 10-7 of hearts. Lets it go. Probably happy to let Witmeyer take a chance at busting out. Any pay jump would be very, very enjoyable. And the same, of course, goes for Witmeyer. Doesn't want to get out of line here because he knows that Sotiropoulos, at least at this point, is still shorter than him. The longer this takes, the better Snider's chances are to win this.
Yeah, he's just going to keep chipping up, applying the pressure.
Snider with a7 off in the small blinds. Donnie, do we prefer just jamming because it might look a little weaker, or do we want to give Sotiropoulos a chance to do some shoving of his own usually?
I think it's fine to just put that in. Just given the stack size of Sotiropoulos, he's got what, 12? Well, he had 12 bigs on that hand, so.
Little cookie break here for Sotiropoulos. Let's see if the added sugars will turn the tide. 10 bigs for him, 14 for Witmeyer. Snider in full control here, looking to win his first WSOP bracelet. Snider, by the way, his biggest cash, $35,000 in a live event online.
160,000.
He came very close in 2023. He finished second in a 1K online bracelet event for $54,000. So his biggest cash to date, already bigger than his biggest live cash, as Snider makes it 160. Witmeyer with fours in the big blinds. Oh, he's stacking them. There he goes.
All in.
Moves all in. Snider with a glance. Jack 6 off. 14 blinds.
Thanks.
A little too rich. A little bit too rich. Sotiropoulos only on 800K right now.
Small blind. Ace of club exposed.
How did that happen?
He knocked it and flipped over.
Queen 10 for Sotiropoulos, raising to 160, and Witmeyer finds kings in the small blind.
8.
Okay. You know what to do, sir. One of the best hands in the game. Brandon Witmeyer trying to hide his excitement here. Oh, look at this. Some short stack trickery here.
410,000.
Making it 410 from the small blinds, and Snider doesn't have anything to go with, so he's going to let it go.
Thanks. Any hands?
Sotiropoulos, Queen 10, goes into the muck, and Witmeyer with kings does not get the double, but does extend the gap between himself and Sotiropoulos, who is dropping fast.
5100.
Now on just 8 big blinds.
What are the blinds? 50, 100?
Mm-hmm.
Not me.
Ace 10 for Witmeyer on the button. He's going to try to continue his surge here.
Yeah, probably just the jam here.
$250,000.
Elects to come with the raise.
Bun's good.
Gets it through.
Like 1.8?
15.
Witmeyer.
Little more,
Witmeyer has gone
1.9.
from 1.1 million to 1.9 without showdown in the last couple of hands. While Sotiropoulos is now on 5 big blinds. Imagine being down to 5 bigs and you find 4 deuce offsuit.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many hands that are out of the shoving range there, but 4 deuce off is, and that's just unfortunate for Sotiropoulos. I mean, even like 9-3 suited, you're just sticking it, you know? And it's just
Thanks.
Witmeyer, ace deuce suited. He's on quite a card run the last few orbits, again with a very playable one. And again, his opponents not living up to it. Snider just with 10 deuce off.
Trește 90.
6, 8, 9, 2 spades. Witmeyer, nut flush draw. Snider, gut shot straight draw. Does have backdoor spades as well. Perhaps Snider going to try and play this one.
200,000.
he is 200K. Pretty quick call here from Witmeyer.
Turn is the 4 of clubs. This preventing spade trouble for Snider. Witmeyer with ace high, probably hoping for a free river card. But Snider has nothing to go on here, Donnie. If he wants to win this hand, he's going to need to start betting now.
Yeah, I'm curious if he thinks Witmeyer has, you know, some value that he's already realized, like a pair of 8s, a pair of 6s, or if he's just on a draw. Spades, of course, are out there. There's a 7 that is a 4-liner. It's going to come with another bet, 550K. So really applying this pressure because of where Sotiropoulos is in chips. Witmeyer is just on a draw. Do you want to continue to chase that draw, knowing your opponent over there has sub 10 big blinds and is going to be in the big blind on the next hand, putting half of his stack in the middle?
Such a tricky situation here. It's not an easy one. in the slightest. He is going to call. Okay. 1.8 million in the middle. Sotiropoulos probably hoping for a massive clash here. And the jack of spades hits on the river. Witmeyer makes the nut flush. This is a disaster for Snider. Or can he just give up here easily?
I think Snider can probably give up here. I mean, that's a pretty big scare card. Of course, brings the spades in. That's what Witmeyer has. A little bit of acting here from Witmeyer, you know, taking off the glasses, thinking like he's getting a better look, double checking his cards here. Now, if Witmeyer knew Snider's hand, he would just check to him and hope that he could bluff catch. But if he thinks Snider has any sort of value,
I'm all in.
then he'll do this right here. But Snider's going to give this up really quickly.
Yeah, Witmeyer moves all in for 1.1. Snider with the fold, and we have a real battle for the bracelet here as Witmeyer and Snider are now basically tied with Sotiropoulos, the hanger on 3 big blinds.
The decision to chase that draw paying off for Witmeyer. Didn't look comfortable on the turn, but did make the call of the 550 and got there on the river.
King Queen off for Witmeyer. This man is on an absolute run right now with cards.
$275,000.
275 is the raise. Snider with the snap fold. Sotiropoulos doesn't have many options, but again, absolutely nothing. Has to let it go.
Yeah, just another unfortunate spot there for Sotiropoulos. Another hand that you're probably just going to call off most of it. But 8-4 off. Not one of those hands. Snider here. 10-8 off on the button. Gonna give it up. Queens for Sotiropoulos. Hello.
After 4 deuce, 8-4, and a whole bunch of random cards.
He's just laughing. I mean, because
he finally finds one, and Witmeyer has a premium 3-handed hand as well. Ace Jack versus Queens. Sotiropoulos, tournament life on the line. Unfortunately for him, one double up is not going to be enough here.
no, it's going to need a few. But hey, it's got to start with the first one.
All right, Queens well ahead here. Can they hold up? Oh, ace in the window. And Witmeyer, who's been fortunate before at this final table, continues his good streak here as the Greek pro is looking for backdoor straight flush or a queen. 5 of diamonds on the turn is going to reduce his outs to just 2. Sotiropoulos needs a queen and a queen only, or we'll be down to heads-up play. Let's see the river card. It is the 5 of hearts, and Georgios Sotiropoulos has been eliminated in 3rd place, taking home $145,000.
There's one in the middle too, right there.
The final 2 guaranteed 192. Playing heads up for a little over $60,000.
Because we're next to each other, maybe we could just move, give us some space.
Absolutely, a massive heads-up battle about to commence.
Maybe take a I'm going to take a bathroom break too.
Yeah.
2 minutes, will.
Can they pause it?
Yeah, I think they.
It's going.
Where's the guy?
Floor.
Floor.
Little quick look here at the chip counts before our heads-up play gets underway. Donnie, it couldn't be closer than this. 32 big blinds apiece, basically, for these two players.
Yeah, very close. I mean, not super, super deep, but I think we're going to see some fun between these two players, you know. I think they've been certainly willing to get in there, play some pots with one another.
3.25, I think.
Wait, so I think we're
even.
So
about even.
Let us know in the
And
chat
we're gonna
who
be
you
playing,
think
what are we playing?
has
50,
got the
100.
edge here.
50, 100?
Yeah.
Okay.
Snider or Witmeyer?
Yeah.
Which side are you on?
So, what is small blind, big
You're
blind?
small blind, I'm big blind, yeah.
Okay, so I was just a big blind, though, so I don't think it could happen.
Waiting for those first cards to get in the air here as chip stacks are quickly being repositioned. This is our final heads-up battle of the summer before the main event kicks off tomorrow. Final table at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Poker Go. If you're not yet a Poker Go subscriber, you can do so and save $20 on your annual sub. Use promo code WSOP24WIN if you want to get in the mix there. Otherwise, we also have highlights available on our Poker Go YouTube channel every day.
So we're dealing with one first.
Okay.
First hand of heads-up play. Off we go. Witmeyer limps in. Snider with ace-3 of diamonds.
Raise 350,000.
And look at this. Snider making it 350. Witmeyer not going anywhere with the suited 8-deuce.
Yeah, he's in there. Hi.
8-8-3 on the flop. Witmeyer outflops his opponent in a majestic way as Snider catches a pair as well and has backdoor diamonds. We can see some real blood here, Donnie.
So isn't it me first?
I think he's first because
it
was his action. Yeah, I got the last card.
He's the big blind, you're the small blind.
Yeah, and he raised out of the small blind. So he's first to
No,
go.
I was the big blind. But I'm still first because you're the button.
Right, right.
Yeah, the butt, it's flip-flop, yeah.
Right.
I mean, interesting conversation there mid-hand, especially given the strength of these two hands here in heads-up play. Turn 9 of clubs. Witmeyer with a lock on this hand. Now, of course, Snider won't be committing all of his chips here, but he could still lose some additional ones.
$375,000.
Wow, and Snider leading off for 375. Witmeyer just comes with the call. Are you a fan of playing it slow here?
Yeah, I think you can just keep everything in. Allow Snider to, you know, if he's got a 9, just try and get some more value out of him. Let's see if Snider does opt to come with another bet here. If he does check, you know, it's going to be on Witmeyer to decide on his sizing. More than 1.5 million out there. Snider does check. So now let's see what sort of sizing Witmeyer comes with. That looks like $1 million even. 2/3 pot.
And 100, 1 million.
1 million even here is the bet. And look at this. Snider takes off the sunnies, gets a good look at Witmeyer.
I feel like the Snider group over there can't watch, stressing out.
The Snider group sounds like an investment group, Donnie.
Maybe they are invested. You never know.
Very possible.
Emotionally invested for sure. You know, what is he calling with on the turn here that's then barreling on the river? Maybe some 6-7, maybe some 10-7. But there's also, you know, a lot of value in there. Jack 10 in there. He's got 8s as well. Given the way this one played out, I think Queen 9 is fine. You know, he can have a 9.
Feels as though Snider may be trying to talk himself into a call here.
Yeah, we can obviously see that that would be bad news. I mean, he's really staring down Witmeyer, who's not giving off anything.
I mean, this
frozen
is
over there.
Such a decisive moment in this heads-up battle. If Snider calls, he's going to be left 1.4 million, and Witmeyer is going to have all the ammunition he needs to push his opponent around. And he makes the call. Misstep here for Snider. Witmeyer showing 8 deuce for trips, and he takes a commanding lead up to 5.2 million. And the last 45 minutes or so, everything going Witmeyer's direction. Oh, if you're Snider, you gotta really feel the pain of how this thing turned around.
Yeah, a bit of a misstep there on the end. Did not believe his opponent. Big lead now for Witmeyer.
5.2 million to 1.4. 14 bigs for Snider. He's gonna need a double up here to get back in this thing. His intuition led him astray on that previous decision.
I'm counting right now.
And right now, he is backed into a corner.
1.4.
Witmeyer just asked Snider what he has left. Snider first to act here on the button. Queen 8. Limps in, and Witmeyer's got an ace-9. Could just put this in. There it is.
Look at this. Snider having the pressure put on him, as expected. Wow, and the Witmeyer just seems to be on an absolute run of cards right now. Sometimes when things go your way, they just continue to go your way, and that's where we are right now.
300.
Can Snider withstand the rush here?
Oh.
And he does find a monster. Ace King.
Spot.
Oh my God. What a spot to start a potential comeback here. 13 big blinds to start this hand for Snider.
I can only imagine this money goes in here. There it is.
There's the
Witmeyer's
shove.
going to call.
And there it is. The call has made. We're all in here. Witmeyer needing a queen or some kind of help to end it here on the spot. Otherwise, Snider is going to be right back in this thing. 2.5 million in the middle.
That'd be nice.
Witmeyer has been behind in these showdowns a time or two at this final table, most notably winning 4s versus 8s for his tournament life. Can he get lucky again? And it's a queen in the window.
It's okay. Barry Green's.
Oh my God.
That's fine.
Witmeyer has had the flop on his side all day long here. And Snider now looking for the Barry Green sign. As he mentioned, an ace on the river is the only way he can be saved. Ace on the river needed for the Snider family. Or is Brandon Witmeyer going to win his first bracelet? Everything on this card. What's it going to be? It's the Queen of Diamonds.
Good job, bud.
And Snider tells Witmeyer, good game, as Brandon Witmeyer wins his second World Series of Poker bracelet. What a roller coaster this final table has been. Jacob Snider came all so close to winning his first, but he still takes down or takes home $192,000 as Brandon Witmeyer adds $258,000 to his poker resume after battling his way through a very, very tough final table. Well done, sir. As he certainly had the luck on his side today, but that's part of poker. You got to play well. You got to get there sometimes. Tremendous showing for both players here. Snider came very close. Ultimately fell short in second place. Thank you all so much for tuning into our broadcast here. It's been an honor and a pleasure to call the action. But tomorrow, of course, all eyes will be on the main event. Jacob Snider, second place. Brandon Witmeyer in first, taking home $258,000. Thanks again for tuning in. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific time on PokerGo.com. Watch the main event of Final Table with $10 million up top. This was a fun one. I hope you guys all enjoyed our coverage. But for now, we're going to wish you good night from Las Vegas. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one.